baby. S-D-P. The Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Hello and welcome back from break. We have the Connor McDavid trophy on the desk, and I'll be talking about that in a second. But first, I did want to mention this weekend, Kingston, Ontario, the Mansion Bar and Grill. By the way, the Mansion has always been so good to us, so I want to shout out their owner, Dave Owens, 506 Princess Street, $15 a ticket. You can get the link in the description to buy right now. Jesse will be there as well.
I'm going to be there.
Wild card weekend where the Steelers are for sure going to win, right, Jesse?
I thought they were going to win last night, and Mike Tomlin, through whatever powers he has, pulled it out. It was awesome. Whatever voodoo he has going on there in Pittsburgh, he got it done.
How do you miss an extra point?
Yeah, Chris Boswell is.
How do you miss a field goal from 30 yards out after that?
You're trusting a rookie in a spot where, nerves play a factor.
Man, when that didn't go, I was like, that was right after Team Canada had lost. So it made me feel a little bit.
And let's go to the comments on his Instagram. Oh, dear.
You have to consider the fact that Aaron Rodgers was right about inoculations. Now that he is going to the playoffs,
man,
was he right about being inoculated?
Damn.
You know? Oh, my God.
The question needs to be asked.
That's got to be a narrative online already, that the kicker was vaccinated, and that's why he missed.
No.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. Oh,
the kicker, by the way, whose name I don't know.
Tyler Luke.
Yeah, there you go.
Which
I know him now.
I have to point out.
Yeah. Oh, Steve Dangle.
I have to point out.
Fantasy football champion Steve Dangle this year. So I had a great season all season, and then in the championship game, all my guys really sucked.
Yeah, because we were on the break, and I think we're in the quarters maybe when we started the break.
Yeah.
And by the time we got to now back here, maybe we're in the semis.
Leave it up.
You guys were playing in the finals for our fantasy football SDPN League championship.
Completely ridiculous.
Steve ran your show at him in the championship game.
He kicked my ass, and it was, you know what it was that killed me? It was the fact that the Bills and the Eagles played each other. Jalen Hurts and James Cook are my two main guys. Puka Nacua had a bad week. Jalen Hurts and James Cook both had a bad week against each other. And so Justin has 3D printed this trophy, by the way.
I was watching that game, and just every catch, I went, no! Because I just needed that particular game to be low scoring.
Right. And
Steve said something funny after he won. What was it? About the percentage of players what team they play for?
I don't know what team they play for. I don't know their first names. I just
first name.
You gotta give him credit. You gotta give him credit.
I read the Yahoo stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. That guy seems good.
You look at the projections of how many points. I guess he's gonna project it to get more.
It's a combination of the projections, and then you realize the projections are just always wrong about certain players.
Because Yahoo sucks.
Yahoo does suck.
Yep.
They're terrible.
And so you got to look at the percentage rostered, the projected points, and like weigh them against each other, and also how they've done recently, and just dumb luck.
I got to ask the commissioner, are we moving over to Sleeper next year, or are we staying with Yahoo?
Sleeper would be a good place. If everybody's cool with it, early August is when I'll ask the question.
All right.
If we get a consensus vote from the league's teams, then we will move over to Sleeper, because I do like the Sleeper app. It's awesome.
Will it be harder for me to luck into a championship?
No, it'll be the same way. I think
then it's fine.
That is a thing that happens where people who have too much knowledge about things overthink these decisions.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you know a lot about football, you might be terrible at fantasy.
Right.
And we know that in hockey, where it's like, oh, I know too much about hockey, I'm bad at fantasy. But the guy who's just like, by the numbers, oh, this player does well, I'm just putting in the lineup regardless of what their name is.
Yep. There's a handful of guys where I'm like, I know Derrick Henry's good.
Like that,
and then he throws up 45 points.
That gets you a championship.
Yep, I know Derrick Henry's good, and Dicker the Kicker is a funny nickname, so I'll get him.
And this is legit back-to-back years you've had good seasons, because last year you won the President's Trophy.
Yeah.
And then
I finished a game shy.
Oh, a game shy. In the last week, you just missed out on it.
it.
And then you lose in the playoffs, but you had a good season, and this year you actually win.
Yeah,
so
Steve Dangle, everybody.
Credit to you, Steve.
Wow.
Well done.
Can't play hockey fantasy for shit.
No.
But is an
Or
amazing
hockey.
football fantasy guy.
I used to have video
didn't
game
even-
hockey, and I suck at that now, too.
I want to say that producer Drew did not even make the playoffs. Producer Drew, who hosts the football show on this network, did not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's rough. And
Yeah.
don't please do not hold back on him on that. Like, he deserves it. Whatever it is you got. Tim Houraney won the President's Trophy this year. He had a great season. And so I came second in the regular season and second in the playoffs.
Tim had the top wide receiver in JSN and the top running back, or second, I don't know who finished before Bijan or McCaffrey, but he had the top two players, skill position players. And then the first round, Hayden had the luckiest week of all time. And Tim scores 150 points and Hayden puts up 151.
Tim would have won every matchup except his.
He got robbed. He got robbed.
Whatever, Tim, get good.
Yeah, skill issue.
Now,
skill issue.
The last thing I want to do before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show is I want to mention the gigantic 97 before Steve Dangle. It's not because Connor McDavid is signed in Toronto.
Oh, is there another trophy on this?
There's a gigantic, substantial trophy from the OHL. This is the Connor McDavid trophy, and it's not like, the Stanley Cup. They've got the real one and the fake one. This is the only one. This is the Connor McDavid. Lift it up, Steve, for everybody to see. Yeah, it's heavy.
Is it?
It's like at least 20 pounds.
There is an Eastern and a Western Conference winner for the OHL Top Prospect of the Top Prospects game every single year. Connor McDavid Trophy. And I just want to let you know that Steve Dangle Podcast will be on site at Miskin Arena next Tuesday. And then, of course, at the PMC, which is the Peterborough Memorial Center, for the actual game next week. And Steve is doing the in-game hosting. So not only are we doing a show and we're going to interview OHL head Brian Crawford, but we're also doing a couple of shows down there. So definitely come down and see us. There's a U16 tournament. Obviously, there's the OHL tournament. So it's going to be really fun. And we're very excited to be working with the OHL and the Petes on this one.
It takes me back to my roots as the Mississauga Steelheads in-arena host. To really make it authentic, they need to give me an envelope with one $20 bill and one $10 bill in it, because that's what I made.
You made $30 a game?
I made $30 a game to drive from Scarborough to Mississauga.
So $30 in gas.
So I worked for free.
Worth it, though.
They fed me pizza, though.
Did you know that one day you'd be doing the Top Prospects game as the arena host?
Not.
Well, there you go.
No, I did not.
See, it's good practice. Now, let's talk a little bit about what's happening on today's show, because we have Frank Corrado coming on in about 15 minutes to talk about the Leafs power play and why it's suddenly clicking. And he's got it actually broke down. While we were gone, Mark Savard was fired. The Leafs grabbed 10 out of 12 points over the break. We had the World Juniors that are still ongoing. We had the Olympic roster announcements. The Jets fell to last place and have lost 9 games in a row. They're having a press conference today, which we're going to try to talk about. The Oilers are looking increasingly shaky. San Jose is weirdly tied for the last wild card in the Western Conference. There's so many other things. We've missed trades. We've missed suspensions of players. We've missed non-suspensions of players. Teams missing shaking hands out of the games.
Suspension doubled yesterday.
Yeah. So
can I give you my favorite one?
Give it to us.
Chris Tanev came back and left due to injury in the time that we stopped recording and came back.
And it looks like he's going to be gone forever.
Yep.
Cool. I mean, maybe.
Like gone till the end of the season.
We're going to get a Jake McCabe update. Did you already say that one?
No, we didn't.
Oh, well, there you go.
I haven't gone Leafs yet. I actually want to start with the Olympic rosters. You guys are supposed to do a little bit of homework for me.
Yes.
Okay, so... Sure. We have the rosters, right? We know what they are. We know who's on them, and I can pull them up if you want. But what I wanted to ask you
freestyle it
is about,
guess. Remember
what I wanted to ask you about is the teams. Obviously,
that's the junior.
That's the World Juniors. Yeah, the teams and the players that they selected, and specifically 3 of them. The teams that are most loaded with NHL talent. Top 3 are Canada, United States, and Sweden. I would put Finland in there. Without Sasha Barkov, there's probably not going to be a fit here for what we're talking about. What I want to talk about is snubs, because we have, I'm sure you saw ad nauseum the amount of, takes and that sort of thing. And I think sometimes when you've got like a week to think about something, you think about it, you sleep on it. Everybody wants that instant reaction. But now here we are about a week later. And we know what this team looks like for Team Canada. If you were to say, hey, I'm a general manager, which Jesse used to be, and I would have done it differently, here's how I would have done it. Who's the one snub from Team Canada that you think is maybe not egregious, but somebody that you've been like, I would have gone with this person instead?
I don't know if it's so much I would have gone with this person instead, but I was shocked they left Sam Bennett off. Shocked. He just won the Conn Smythe Trophy. right? So Jordan Binnington is on this team because he's having a good season? Well, no.
No, you can't keep jumping around. You keep it to Sam
No.
Bennett.
That's I understand your point.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say the same thing.
All right.
He's on this team because he's having a good season?
No, he's not.
No.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the Four Nations team because he was having a good season?
No, he's not.
No.
He's got pictures of Doug Armstrong.
Well, he was on the team. Okay, that's a very important factor. The bias of his own general manager, which will come up later in conversations. But there's proof of concept of him winning in high leverage situations.
Yes.
They trusted him, and it looked shaky at first, and lo and behold, they were right. Sam Bennett has been an incredible playoff performer outside of last season. And then he won the Conn Smythe Trophy. And go back to the Four Nation Face-Off final. Who tied the game?
Yeah.
Sam Bennett.
Yeah.
Who was, yes, a healthy scratch at times during that tournament. But of all the guys they could have taken off, because I know they wanted Suzuki, and I was surprised they took Suzuki. Not against the pick, but I was surprised they did.
Well, there's some tension between him and Hockey Canada.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess they get along now. I was surprised that Sam Bennett was the casualty.
Jesse, who do you think is most egregious in terms of snubs? Who would you put in instead?
Now, I don't know if he'd even, like, if I'm doing the team strictly based on who's the best and who's playing the best and who fits the best as a team, I'm not even sure if he'd make the roster, but he might be a healthy scratch, and I think he deserves to be there as a healthy scratch, but I'm not sure he'd actually crack the forward group. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't even in consideration for my least favorite thing that happens with these teams, and that is the political game that these people who run these national teams always play with these players. Connor Bedard was never allowed to be on this team, regardless of how good or bad his season was. And his season was very good. He was amongst the league leaders in goal scoring when he went out for injury. And he had a fantastic year. And I get the people talk about his defensive deficiencies, but they have people for that. He's a great goal scorer. And Doug Armstrong said the quiet part out loud when he was asked about whether Bedard was considered for the team before he got injured. And he said no, in short words. He said no because Bedard didn't do enough so far this season. But if we're looking at where he was in comparison to Celebrini, like, they were right there. And because Bedard decided to poo-poo the World Championships last season and not go over and play with that squad and decide to get healthy for this upcoming season because he wasn't happy with where his game was at ending last season, Team Canada said, you're on our no-fly list.
Which sucks.
And that's bullshit. And they do this with the damn kids at the World Juniors all the time. Every kid who goes to the NCAA, you're on the blacklist for Team Canada. And now they're doing it with these kids at the kids, because Bedard still is a kid, but these men at the professional level, whereas you're not doing enough for Team Canada, so we're not even going to consider you. And I think that's disgusting. That's why I'm calling it the biggest.
Well, that's why Suzuki was maybe not going to be on the team.
Exactly.
Team
but
Canada
played it so much.
Team Canada, by the way, is not held to that standard. Like, their management. Hey, if you come to this tournament no one really cares about it, people are gonna they care about it in Europe, but over here, we're snobs about the World Championship, frankly. It's going to help you. It didn't help John Tavares. And the much more egregious one, if we're going to go with like the future of the program and you scratch our back or I'll scratch yours and performing well, Seth Jarvis. What was all of last year about?
When he was not named to the roster, it wasn't even a conversation. Like, people weren't even bringing
Bedard or Jarvis?
Jarvis, because people weren't even talking about it because they were just like, nah, he's done. So it wasn't even like on all these projected lists, but he 100% has a case to be there.
Yeah. And I'm not like, would I have named him to the team personally? Probably not. If he ended up on the team because of injury, like, I'd have no problem with it. Like, I think at the bottom of the lineup, like, the margins are so small and it's like it's star out, star in. Sort of thing. But all the stuff he did for a case to be on this team did not apply.
No.
But if you snub Team Canada at any point, and I think this applies to other programs too, you're persona non grata, which isn't fair.
So that Bedard's my biggest snub because he wasn't even in consideration for strictly politics. And it's disgusting.
And I think that's a great point, Jess. Also, my fantasy team has just died since he went down. And Leo Carlson's injured too, so it just sucks. But hey, I think that Islanders fans will be upset, especially after Matthew Schaefer dunked on the Leafs for me not to pick him. And I wanted him on the team, but I'm not gonna go there. For me,
might end up there anyway.
Yeah, he might end up there anyway. For me, it's gonna be in goal. And if we're gonna, as you said, leave Sam Bennett off the team or Seth Jarvis off the team because their start wasn't very good. Jordan Binnington pitched a shutout as soon as he was named to the team, so this is kind of hilarious.
Yeah,
but. There is one of these things is not like the other going on with this. And I believe that one of Mackenzie Blackwood or Scott Wedgwood, and I would say Wedgwood because he's played more games, deserved a third spot. I don't even think Binnington should be starting. I don't know if he should be dressed. Like, I think it's got to be Logan Thompson, Darcy Kemper.
If he's there, he has to start.
I know.
That's
the part I don't like that. You know, it's like, that's nice that happened 8 months ago, but this is sports. 8 months is a long time. And I think it's more like, what have you done for me lately? And I know that's not how they're going to operate. I know that they're weirdly loyal to certain people, and you got to respect it. And I got to say too, like, if you look at the way this roster is constructed, it's like, well, half the Tampa Bay Lightning are here, and we've left the Florida Panther off. That's an interesting rivalry situation.
It reads interesting. Well, wait till we get to Team USA.
Yes, exactly. So we'll leave it there with Team Canada for now. Let's go to Team USA. And I want to know, snubs wise, who do you think you would take? Because obviously there's the big one, which people got on me before Christmas for saying, I don't think Jason Robertson's going to be on this team.
Yeah, which one of you wants Robertson? Because, like, I can do Fox. One of us is doing Robertson.
Jesse, I don't want Robertson.
You take Robertson.
I'll take Robertson?
Yeah, you take Robertson.
It's one of the least justifiable Olympic snubs in the history of NHL players going to the Olympics. What on God's green earth could he have possibly done? It's absurd to me that the Dallas Stars have 5, 6 Olympians, and he's not one of them? He's their best player. He is the Dallas Stars' best player this season, certainly. You can make arguments for
Mikko or Miro Heiskanen or
Rantanen, my bad.
The point of hockey is to score goals. He's the best on the team at scoring goals.
Yeah, I keep forgetting Rantanen is a star.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
But if you include JT Miller and Vinny Trocheck, who both have...
What are we doing?
And Garen called them glue guys. And I saw somebody online going, wow, if you're called a glue guy, you know you're not very good anymore.
It's moving the goalpoasts.
Well, tell me how. Tell me how.
You're moving the goalposts because you're acknowledging, like, if you're you're allowed to be a star and a good guy too. Like, you're allowed to be a star and someone who holds the team together. I think they call those leaders.
Yeah.
I don't know how stoked I am to have my $8 million captain referred to as a glue guy. I know everyone has to take on a different role at the Olympics. Like, Rick Nash all of a sudden turns into, I don't know, some like Kirk Maltby. Hey, Kirk Maltby retired. We need someone to be Kirk Maltby. How about the guy who won the rocket, right? Like, it's the Olympics and everyone gets a little weird. But the Team USA had a lot of turnover from the Four Nation face-off, and a lot of it was, righting wrongs. Like, Tage Thompson should have been on that team.
Yes.
And he led, at the end of the season, All-American players in goal scoring.
Yep.
With, I think, 44. Kyle Connor, who was on the team but scratched for the final, was tied for second with 41. And he's on this team. So, okay, it's not like an anti-skill thing. Why the hell isn't Jason Robertson on this team? I don't get that at all. at all.
Jesse.
I think Cole Caulfield is such a useful player. And if I would have him there over Trocheck. And I think he's gone under the radar in terms of he can score as good as any of the wingers they have. And his defensive abilities are now up there with everybody else. And I don't understand why he's not in consideration as well. He was never hey, he's right there with getting in. It's just kind of, they have their guys and they don't want to discuss anything further.
Yep.
I think Cole Caulfield's a huge snub from this team.
I'm going to go with...
It's just confusing because they have new guys, though. They have new guys, and neither of those players were able to work themselves into the conversation of new guys. I don't get it.
But I also think, too, they have a style that they want to play. And that style is hard and heavy, which makes it interesting to me. And I'm going to give him a special mention, but he's not my pick. Matthew Nyes, who's had a great season as a power forward. If you want to go power forward on this team, I find it interesting that he wasn't even more in the conversation. But the guy I'm going to pick is not Matthew Nyes. I can understand why he was left off.
If his start continued the way it was going, I think he might have made the team, but he did slow down for a bit.
I want to talk to you about a defenseman that has 28 points in 29 games on a bad New York team.
Man,
Adam Fox, guys, he is back. I know he's had a couple of not great seasons, and he did give away the pass that ultimately led to the goal in the Four Nations final, whatever. Adam Fox is still a phenomenal defenseman and has looked very, very good this year and has scored a lot of points. And I'm trying to understand how Team USA feels like they're better without him.
They got Seth Jones, is what they say. He's
so
bigger.
I'm sorry,
he's got a bigger frame.
Seth Jones, who just won. He just won
the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I'll take Adam Fox over Seth Jones on my team.
Me too.
So there was a big argument online, and the reason I'm jumping in is because I wanted Fox.
Well, you could have him.
No, I know, but we had to do Robertson. That's still the craziest. We could have done Robertson 3 times. Yeah, I think. But with Fox, the argument was analytically he had an incredible four-nation faceoff. However, if you look at the series of mistakes Team USA made that led to the tournament-winning goal, it begins with Fox. Mm-hmm. He makes the mistake.
That tends to happen, though, with guys who have the puck. They do make mistakes.
That's fair.
Right?
But he makes the mistake. Matthews leaves his post. McDavid's wide open. Tournament's over. Right? And I have a hard time looking at the roster that they named and thinking anything other than they blame him for it. And I think it was Ryan Mead, who covers the Rangers, who made the great point. Canada is being criticized because John Cooper, who's the coach of the Lightning, got to take all his guys. Everyone's pointed their ire at Cirelli, who's obviously not scored as much as the other guys, but Tampa has way crazily won his minutes at 5-on-5. Braden Point is a shell of himself this year.
But he was already named.
So that's the guy I look at. But John Cooper obviously has a lot of pull with Canada. Team USA's coaching staff features Mike Sullivan. It features David Quinn, who both had this player, or currently have this player, and Chris Drury in management. Mm-hmm. And that amounted to nothing. And they immediately, the spin got out there that, they really advocated for him. They really advocated. Yeah. How hard?
Well, They advocated harder for Trocheck and Miller.
Yeah. I don't believe any of that.
So you were able to get Trocheck and Miller in there over Caulfield and Robertson, but you weren't able to get Fox in over anybody?
They don't like him.
I don't think they like him. Now,
Chris Drury doesn't like his own player.
That's not new.
The one weird little factor with Team USA and their decor and the turnover from the four-nation faceoff is McAvoy wasn't there in the final and Quinn Hughes wasn't there at all. Mm-hmm. And that could easily be your top pair if you wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. Well, not anymore because Faber and Hughes are friggin' teammates in Minnesota and, couldn't help but notice that happen in an Olympic year. But that has a real possibility to poison the well there in New York. That's bad.
So the last one I want to do is Team Sweden. because there were some notable snubs from that too. And I don't know who wants to take this. I got my pick, but Jesse, Steve, who wants to go first here?
I can go.
All right, go.
Because this show secretly is a Sharks podcast. I know we never talk about it, but this show bleeds teal.
It does.
And William Eklund would be my snub. I think he's no offense to ex-Leaf Pontus Holmberg. I would rather William Eklund on my team than Pontus Holmberg. If I'm required to take off somebody to put him there, that's who I'm taking off of. That is a great young forward that I think for the development of the future of the Sweden program would be cool to have him there. So that's my pick.
If I can comment just for a sec on Holmberg, like the Leafs should have obviously kept him. Like he's doing really well in Tampa. It sucks that they let him walk. It sucks more that they let him walk to a divisional rival. He's scoring more than he did last year, and there were times where he was an offensive black hole. But generally, when he was on the ice, good things happen. The one concern I have is they seem to be taking him in this like shutdown role, and at no point, none during his Leafs tenure, and I would argue his Tampa tenure, I haven't seen the numbers, has he shut down top competition. In Tampa, I imagine that's Cirelli's job. And here, never. What are you talking about? So fascinated to see how Sweden uses him.
He was a member of their Olympic team 4 years ago.
He was, and I think he benefited from that. Someone pointed out, like, he's the only returning member.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Former playoff MVP in the SHL. Like, all these things count. But, like, I mean, William Eklund. Like,
wait,
you listen to the names.
Not a returning member from when they didn't have
NHL players.
Like, so
from 2022.
So that's not as wow.
That's why it's funny.
I think it's kind of funny. Yeah.
I didn't at first get why it was wow. I was like, wait, there weren't NHLers, so why is that impressive?
I think it's wow that anybody is back.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have to be that way for Sweden, right?
You had to be available, and then you had to get like real good and go to the NHL.
Yeah. Jesse, so your pick. Eklund. Okay, Steve, your pick.
Let me go with one that, I mean, every Oilers fan is actually happy he got snubbed, but whatever. Matthias Ekholm.
Yeah. Changing of the guard.
It is a changing of the guard. He's kind of old, 35 or 36, which, I mean, old by professional, here's a 37-year-old calling him old, but by pro hockey standards and definitely by Olympic standards. I was surprised, though, that Oliver Ekman-Larsson made it and Philip Broberg.
Mm-hmm. Like,
Ekholm, you would think, would make it over at least one of those two. Like, Broberg is, he's missed time. Hasn't exactly been on the greatest team at all times since he arrived on the St. Louis Blues. And OEL is obviously having a really good season. He gets the veteran bump, so I guess I understand that. But Ekholm didn't get that at all.
So, like, that's the interesting thing about leaving Ekholm off the team. I think Sweden did the right thing at the end of the day in that they didn't just say, Ty goes to the veteran, even though somebody else might be playing better. OEL, I didn't have on the roster because I thought, like, Ekholm was a default is going to be there.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if it's a snub. They might have just made all of the correct decisions amongst defensemen.
The energy in the Oilers fan base, the difference between Ekholm and Bouchard is hilarious, because Bouchard, it's like a friggin',
you're screaming holy hell, like you were robbed.
How dare you? It's a referendum on Evan Bouchard.
Right.
And they have charts and like different
Bob
things.
Stauffer's doing half-an-hour segments on it.
Like Chris Jericho with the list that rolls across the ring about why he should have been on Team Canada.
Yeah.
Ekholm gets left off Team Sweden. They're like, oh, no, that's good. That's good. No, rest.
Yeah, because they want him for the run.
Because they want him for the run, and he hasn't exactly had the greatest health luck over the last year.
Notable people, obviously Linus Ullmark, is a Vezina Trophy winner 2 years ago. Another guy who's not been healthy, who I think if he would be a shoo-in on this team, is Hampus Lindholm. I was surprised not to see him on it. But the guy I'm going to go with is Simon Edvinsson from Detroit.
Oh, that's a good pick.
I think he's been phenomenal. And, we saw it when the Leafs in Detroit played before Christmas. But you saw it. You saw him really break out last year. And this is a guy who was, a 5th or 6th overall pick 3 years ago.
22. Yeah.
And he's on Detroit's top pair every night. He's playing top competition every night. And where's Detroit? They've been mostly at the top of the Atlantic. It's been them
all
in Tampa.
season.
All
they,
season
They
long.
fell off like a teeny tiny bit.
And their
for a little
goaltending's
bit.
been just okay. But the defense has been really strong, and specifically a guy like Simon Edvinsson. He's also freaking huge, 6'6", 220.
He
like
ticks
if it's
a
a
lot of
smaller
boxes.
ice surface, that like, and I have nothing. Listen, I like Philip Broberg a lot, but I do think I would on my team. I'm taking Simon Edvinsson over Philip Broberg at this point.
That's probably a better one than Ekholm, because like Ekholm and Broberg are obviously completely different players. Boy, Edvinsson ticks so many boxes.
He rocks.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't bring him.
I think it's interesting that they took both wild goaltenders, Gustafsson and Wallstedt. Like, it's just the tandem. Like, one's technically a backup.
Yes.
But it's not really a backup at all. So I don't think any other team's going to have a backup goalie in terms of one of their starting goaltenders for the Olympics. That's interesting. And the Minnesota Wild, 4 Swedish players on this team. And then they'll be playing the USA, which has 3 Minnesota Wild players. So the Olympics are just the Wild.
Yeah. Well, they're a good team. So.
Team Sweden is to the Wild what the Stars are to Team Finland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. So those are some of the Olympic rosters, some notable snubs and that sort of thing. But I think Finland on down, they Pixar what they were and what we expected them to be.
Would you take Team North America left off the roster's team ahead of any of the teams in the tournament?
Oh, that's a good.
Like, where do they rank?
So, like a Team North America that's not under 23, like everybody.
No, so you get everybody who wasn't selected to USA or Canada. You get those players on your team.
All right, Scheifele, Caulfield, Jason Robertson, Seth Jarvis, goaltenders Mackenzie Blackwood,
Scott Wedgwood,
Dustin Wolf,
Adam Fox.
Yeah.
Adam Fox. Yeah.
There's some good players on there.
I know I'm
well, you could say Jackson Lacombe, you could say Wyatt Johnson, you could say Joey Decord, you could say
does John Tavares make
Everton, Nyes. What
does John Tavares make the leftover team?
Oh, I'm saying
Yes.
Swedish guys. Does John Tavares make the leftover
yeah.
team? Yeah, I think he does.
JT's on leftover team.
Morgan Riley might be on the leftover team.
No, he's not. Bless him. No, he's not.
You don't think so?
No, I do not.
That's a shocker.
Yeah?
Evan Bouchard.
Evan Bouchard.
Evan Bouchard's there.
Yeah.
Jake Chikrin.
Chikrin's on that.
That's
Schaefer.
Alex Tuck. Oh, Schaefer
for sure.
Wyatt Johnston. Matthew Nyes.
Did we say Connor Bedard?
Yes.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
Holy
That's a damn good team.
I think I might take them.
They get bronze at
ahead
least.
of Finland.
Oh boy.
No, I don't know.
You have to think too that
Ahead
they
of
would
the
be the
Czech.
all fuck you team.
Yeah.
So they'd be really angry. So they'd be playing mad the whole tournament.
I think they beat everyone, and then you get to a top 5 of like Canada, USA, Finland, Sweden, Czechia, and then it's a conversation, right?
Who you put in? I want you to place them somewhere.
Coin flip.
Boy.
I think I put them in the top 3 just because the fuck you nature of it.
You think they're
You guys screwed us. So now we're gonna come in and fuck up your country.
you're putting them ahead of that Sweden team?
I'm not. I might be ahead of the USA team.
No.
Okay.
Might be.
So
USA
Steve
stacked.
Steve
They
doesn't have them. You don't have them top.
Take it. Hey,
I have them as high as
buddy.
No,
JT
I'm
Miller
asking
playing
you to
defense. Come
pick a
on,
number.
the highest I would put them is 4.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
But I think the fuck you. I want them in the top 3. I don't know who it's gonna be. Who's gonna fall?
That's a good team.
No, they're not. Well, they're obviously not being Canada. They're obviously not being the States.
And
Sweden's
so
too good.
Yeah.
There's an argument for Finland, but I think it's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
There's Czechia though. Fuck.
Yeah, it's a good team too.
It is a good team.
I'd like to see it.
Gee, this is a good team.
It's going to be great. Anyway, so those are the snubs. We wanted to talk about that. All right, joining us for the first time in 2026 and our first guest appearance of 2026, Mr. Frank Corrado of TSN, who is in Minnesota for obviously the World Junior Championships. We got the bronze medal and the gold medal game today. Frank, just before we get into the Leafs power play, because that's what we want to talk to you about. We want a Frank Corrado breakdown. I do want to ask, the tournament hockey-wise has seemed like it's been some of the best junior hockey we've ever seen. What's been your sort of opinion on it?
Yeah, like yesterday, by the way, it's great to be back with you guys. Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks
we
for
love you,
having
buddy.
me on. yesterday's games were wild. Like the Sweden-Finland game and the Canada-Czechia game, that's junior hockey to a T, right? Like massive momentum swings, dramatic sequences in the game, late goals, overtime, like goalies making huge saves, breakdowns left, right, and center. That's what, like, people who are junior hockey enthusiasts, that's what they love about junior hockey, and it's why they're drawn to the game. And yesterday was a great example of that. Not the result that Canada wanted, of course.
No.
But, I mean, if you were looking for, 6 hours of entertaining television, you got it if you were watching the World Juniors.
Yeah, it was. I felt bad in the Sweden-Finland game because that could have gone, that's always like a national thing there, right? They're both countries stop, and I thought that game was even more heartbreaking than the Canadian game because the Finns had chances to end it, and the Swedes had chances to end it, and it's just the way that it went down. I thought that game was more heartbreaking if you're looking at it from like a national perspective.
Mm-hmm. Objective.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know which one hurt me more.
Yeah, the Canadian one hurts, but I don't think we need to get into one of those like, well, Hockey Canada's cooked. Like, I feel like there's an improvement there, and I thought... Go ahead.
They took the best players, right? Like, they took the best players. They got the right coach at the right time. They did everything they were supposed to do. I have one, like, I don't think we need a hockey summit, but I have one, like, overarching thought on all of this stuff. And I think last night's game was a little bit of a microcosm. I don't know how many people who listen to you guys have, like, young kids playing minor hockey, but here's my grassroots thing, okay? As much as in Canada, we're super skilled and we develop all these great hockey players. Skill was our edge. Everyone's kind of like everyone's getting there skilled. We had an edge up here where we thought the game and we knew how to win the game at the end of it, right? And now I feel like at the grassroots level, what we're doing is we're hiring all these skills coaches and we're going on the ice with the pylons and the sticks and we're doing the obstacle courses. And what we're doing is we're training these young players to turn their brains off and just say, skate around and show your edge work and show your hands. And we're losing a little bit of the essence of gamesmanship and how to win and how to manage things properly. So I think we're losing a little bit of an edge with all these like obstacle course skills coach type things that all these kids do from such a young age.
I don't hate that thought, man. Like they played with a lack of composure, like down the stretch. I mean, 2 penalties that basically never happen in the final 5 minutes. The hand on the puck was crazy. You see that like once a season.
Yeah. I think he was trying to grab the opponent's stick and accidentally got the puck or just got carried away. Like it's unfortunate. And I think we also got to remember they're all young, they're kids, right? Like we can't bury these guys. They're all going to have great careers, and like seeing them cry after the game was really tough. For sure.
Yeah. I think like you're going down the right path, and that like when guys work on skills so much growing up, it's just all about skill work and you're on the ice with a coach. You forget that it's a team sport. And you got to play with people to really get good at the game. You can't just be working on your individual skills day in and day out and not be playing the actual game. And I feel like
we play to win the game. We play to win the game.
Frank, but what are your thoughts on the theory that none of this matters because Canada can't actually take their best team? Because Macklin Celebrini should be out there, and so should Matthew Schaefer. Like
I know, I get
the World
it.
Juniors. It's not their best team.
And like, no Celebrini, no Schaefer, no Berkeley Catton, no Ben Kindle, no Sam Dickinson. I mean, there's a big difference for sure. I get that, and you like I don't know if we can use it too much as an excuse, because think about how many rinks there are in Canada. Think about how many young players we're developing. Like we should be able to win this tournament without those players. But you're right, like. It would make a massive difference if you could get those guys. It's just they're supremely talented and they're just not available to you. But I will say, like, of all the guys that were available to them, they picked the best guys. There's no one sitting at home doing the Phil Kessel tweet for Team Canada,
All right, now let's talk about what's happened over the break. Because obviously Mark Savard was let go December 23rd, which is super convenient for everybody who works in hockey media. Love that. But since then, the Leafs have been running a power play, if I'm not mistaken, in the 42 to 43% effectiveness, which before it was like 8%.
They've scored in like 4 of 6 games.
And they've grabbed 10 of 12 points, Frank. And I thought, rather than going, hey, isn't it great that the Leafs are better? Woo! I wanted to know why, because it like Steve Sullivan comes up and they get a power play goal in his first period. And then a second one, and he starts kind of smirking on the bench like, I didn't do this. It's him and it's Lalonde. What has changed about the Toronto Maple Leafs power play? And we have some visuals, obviously, to bring up as well.
Yeah, no worry. I mean, so the first one, I'm like, that's kind of a broken play. That's just, I don't know, guys scoring a goal, right? And I think that leads to the smirk. But there's a couple things that they're doing different. So I know I sent you guys some of the stills. Jesse's going to play it. So Jesse, start with the first one. And hopefully I can see it on the screen and we'll just kind of walk through it all. But there's been a few changes that they've made. This is, if we go back to the Dallas game, this was, I believe, the last game before Savard got fired. And this was Toronto actually played well in this game, but they lost 5-1, which sounds crazy to say. But so the first clip, this is an entry versus Dallas. And essentially what's happening here is the puck got kicked out to Max Domi. He's going to skate it down the wall, and he's going to try and bump it back to Morgan Riley. So that's like one of the things that they were trying to do. Now, if we go to the second clip, this is a different entry that they tried to make. This will all matter when you see the after pictures of what's happening. So clip 2 versus Dallas, here's another entry, and they try and make like a little pass at the blue line. So again, like just trying to make a short little pass at the blue line, small area pass. We'll remember that when we get to the clips on how things have changed. And then, so if you look at the in zone setup, this is clip 3 versus Dallas. This is very typical of a lot of teams around the NHL, where you have your defenseman at the top, you have 3 players, 1, 2, 3, essentially drawing a line right in the middle of the zone, halfway through, and then a player around the net. It's your like 1-3-1 setup. Now, my thought when Toronto was struggling with their power play was, why not change this up? Like, everyone knows this is what you're doing, and this is why so many teams have gone to the diamond formation on their penalty kills. So they can just shoot out and come back, go out to the half wall, come back, go out to the point, come back. And they never really deviated from it. Again, if we go to clip 4, here's another one. So they're in that 1-3-1, and Morgan Riley takes a shot from the point, but it's so harmless.
Yeah.
Like, there's a body. They're not getting anything off of this. Okay.
It's a Morgan Riley shot is what it is.
Yeah. Like, hey, listen, he's got a lot more points than I ever had, so I can't say anything, but as a power play, it's not overly threatening. Okay. So then we go to clip 5. This is now in the second period. They're doing the same thing. Point man, 3 across the top. This time there's no one in front. And that's actually a shot. Like, he takes a shot. Ottinger, like, that's the easiest save he'll ever have to make. Okay, so that's some of our Dallas stuff. Now, if I go to clip 6 against Dallas, now you take some shots from the point, whatever. You have to have like a low attack as well. And so this is Matthew Nyes trying to make a low attack. The only problem is, if you look at clip 6, Matthews is in the slot. There's 2 defensemen in his way. And then, I don't know who that is on the back door. That might be Domi on the back door. There's another Dallas player. So, like, you have nothing going on the inside of the ice. Like, Matthew Nyes is by himself. He might try like a wrap job, but again, it's not threatening at all. So we're good with that stuff on the Dallas, right? Like, we know what they're doing at that point.
Right now, basically what you've summed up for us is it's pretty limp.
Yeah.
It's all bad. It felt bad.
It doesn't feel threatening.
Right.
Okay, so now if we go to the New Jersey game, the first thing, remember when I told you guys about the entries and how the first one, Domi wanted to like kind of skate it down the wall and then bump it back, and then they made that little play at the blue line. This is what they're doing against New Jersey. Clip 1. As soon as they get inside the blue line, cross ice pass, like using the other side of the ice. And the reason why they're doing that is because if you look what New Jersey's done, and every team's going to do this, count the white jerseys where Tavares is on that side of the ice. There's 3, right? Mm-hmm. But if you look at the other side, there's 2 blue jerseys and a white jersey. So basically what you're saying is, as soon as we get into the zone, we're sending it the other way because that's how we'll get a clean possession. Okay, that was 1. Clip 2. This one's the same thing, except it comes from the other way. That's Nick Robertson just entered the zone, and his first thought was not, can I get it back on my forehand to the wall? Let me spread it across the ice and get it to Bobby McMann. That's twice. Okay. Number 3. This is all in the first period. Number 3, I believe that's Matias Michelli. Gets into the zone, another one, pass right across the ice. Same deal. New Jersey, 3 guys on one side, 1 guy on the other side. So we're seeing something different here, right? Like that is a conscious effort to say, okay, we're not entering on the side that the puck comes in. We're making an effort to get it across the ice.
And for people that are listening, you're basically, as the puck carrier, drawing 2 or 3 penalty killers to you as you make your zone entry, and then flipping it across to where you have a more of a man advantage. Right?
Yeah, they're not trying to set up on the same side the puck comes in on, which is what they were trying to do before. They were like, okay, puck goes in on the left, we're going to bump it back to the point, or we're going to make a little, dink pass at the blue line and then get it set up from there. They're basically saying, as soon as we get in the blue line, it's got to spread right across. Okay? So that was noticeable against New Jersey. Against Winnipeg is where I really see it all come together for them, and they score. So, Jesse, if we go to clip 1 versus Winnipeg, this is late in the second period. This is the entry that leads to the goal. So right away, there's only 8 seconds left in the period, but the Leafs get into the zone, and right away, the pass goes across the ice to Morgan Rielly. So we're seeing it again. This is absolutely a theme of what they're doing, and it's different than what they were doing before. Now, because they did that, Morgan Rielly actually makes a really nice play to set up Austin Matthews. But look at the front of the net. There's Nyes, and I don't know who that is. Is that Michelli or Domi?
Domi?
Nyes and another blue guy. How's that?
Yeah. So,
Leaf.
anyways, remember those Dallas clips that we saw where there was no one in front and it wasn't threatening? All of a sudden now, it looks pretty threatening. And like, it's not your typical 1-3-1 setup anymore. There's 2 Leafs at the top. There's essentially 3 Leafs down, 2 by the net, 1 by the goal line. Morgan Rielly made the pass. So there's a couple differences there. A, the entry, B, the players in front, and I guess 3 would be like the formation of the players. That's clip 2. Now, if we go to clip 3, this is where I really see them make a big difference on their in-zone setup. This was right off the face-off, okay? This was actually before the goal was scored. But they won the face-off clean, and they go to this setup. So remember what it looked like against Dallas with 1 player at the point, Morgan Rielly. Doesn't look like that right now. There's Rielly and either Domi or Michelli, can't remember, but they're in a 2 at the top and 3 by the net setup. So they've changed things. So now if we go to clip 4, you can really see what that looks like, because Rielly gets the puck. And he says, I'm going to walk it to the middle of the ice. And look what's happening in front of the goalie.
There's 2 guys.
2 blue jerseys.
Wow.
2 blue jerseys. 2 white jerseys. Actually, 3 white jerseys. And another player sniffing at the side of the net. So, that's kind of all I got for you guys. But I think it's a pretty big difference.
All I have is a 10-minute in-depth breakdown.
Corrado, everybody. That was great.
That was fantastic, Craig. Wow.
I guess my big takeaways are this. On the entry, they're spreading the ice right away. Like, it's going east-west as soon as it gets into the blue line. And I hope I'm not giving up state secrets here, but anyone with hockey eyes can figure it out.
The games are televised. Yeah, it's cool.
And then they're not just stuck in on a 1-3-1 setup. They're willing to go 2 at the top, 3 in front of the net, create some kind of chaos in front. And even if you run a low play in front, you have a little bit of a triangle. You can create a little 3-on-2. So they've changed some things. I think for me now, it's more in attack mode. They're thinking about attacking more rather than just possessing the puck.
You ever figure something out and get mad that you didn't figure it out sooner? That's kind of how I look at this, and the conversation I've sort of been having with the audience since this happened. Wasn't able to do it on the podcast because we've been off. Is I know Steve Sullivan didn't flip the table his first day with the Leafs and go, here's how we're friggin' doing it. What, why wasn't any of this addressed before Savard eventually got gassed?
I don't know. Hockey and coaching is such a weird thing, right? Like you have ideas of what you think might work and you're like, it's worked in the past, or people have philosophies. Like so many guys stick to their guns and their philosophies, what they believe. I don't know. Like it's just sometimes it takes different eyes or more of a willingness to take a risk and try something different. It's hard to explain, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks different for sure.
Now, Austin Matthews, obviously, I was at that Winnipeg game.
And
I was
God.
very depressed and then very happy at the end of it. But Austin Matthews gets his first hat trick in a long time. I can't remember what it was. And then his first back-to-back multi-goal games since February of 2024.
Which is crazy because he's got 83 career multi-goal games.
Yeah, so it's been a while. Yeah. Frank, we're starting to see his shots per game clip at where they should be. He should be at least, I would say, 8 to 9 shots a game. His average, though, last year fell in half, and I think it was like 4. And I think he's now only approaching last year's average now. Do you think that there's some sort of Austin Matthews magically got healthy, or is this new offensive system really working for a guy like him who the Leafs need to score?
You know what? Like, I think if he's on the power play, he'll probably get some different looks now. Well, sorry, if he's on the power play. Yes, he's on the power play. He will get some different looks on the power play now because he's not just stuck on the half wall in that 1-3-1. So he'll get some different looks at the net, whether it's low or whether it's walking across the top, whatever. But the biggest thing for Matthews is when he was at his goal scoring best, like at his peak, he was able to like get some separation and like get the shots off that he wanted to get off. Whereas so many times now, like it feels like fly down the wing or, take a shot, stick in the way, like doesn't get a lot of velocity on it. I think for him, it just always comes down to how can you work yourself away from the puck so that when you get it, you're in a good spot, or can you get away from someone when you have the puck on your stick? And when he's not scoring at his usual rate, he's typically not doing that. But it feels like, even that Islanders game is a great example of, the one where he sort of gets away from the traffic and gets the one-timer. Yeah, it's a great pass, but like that's like goal scoring, maneuvering to get yourself into a spot to get the shot off. So more of that. And I think, listen, I don't know like the health and the legs and all that stuff, but like if you're moving well or better, you can get yourself to those spots easier. I think that's important for him.
Guys like it. The first player I think of is like, how do you forget that Alexander Ovechkin exists? Like, how is he always open for that one timer? What, you play defense in the NHL. What do those goal scorers do that other people just don't or can't?
A lot of it is volume. Right? Like so many times Ovi would be in his office, and trust me, I was never entrusted to like stop it. But I watched it, and you would watch it and say, there he is, but it's going there. How many times it would go there though, right? And eventually something would happen that would break down the coverage where they would bump into Oshie a couple times in the bumper, and you're like, man, okay, I got to pay attention to Oshie here because he's going to take a one-timer, and then that would leave Ovi open, right? And there's been so many of those types of scenarios over the years. But I think to Adam's point, right? If you're that talented and that gifted of a shooter, you play the volume game, eventually it's going in for you. Like that's, that's just the way it is. These guys that have had career shooting percentages that are fairly high, and I mean, you just have to keep throwing stuff at the net. It sounds simple, but I mean, Ovi's a great example of it. He's there. The puck's going there, and it just keeps going there. And eventually it goes in because guys are too talented, and you give them that many looks, they're eventually going to score.
Well, okay. And then I guess I want to talk about, because you played with Austin, I want to talk about the monumental sort of part of this. It's unfortunate. It always happens in a losing game where a record is broken. John Tavares scores his 500th in a losing game. Matthews gets 420 and 421 in a losing game. But it is a big deal, right? It is a big deal that he's passed Matt Sundin in 300 less games or whatever the number is. You grew up in Toronto, Frank. You played for the Leafs. You know what this means. Where do you think that puts him in Leafs history? Because I saw some stuff on The Athletic this morning saying, like, listen, his reputation right now as a Leaf is complicated because we haven't seen that stellar Doug Gilmour level run from him the way that, we've seen it from guys like Connor McDavid and Alexander Ovechkin and other guys, Sidney Crosby, that have really won. How do you look at Austin's legacy right now as it stands today?
I think it's such a fascinating question. And, someone asked me the other day, like, if you had to do the face of the franchise for all 32 NHL teams, could you come up with it? And it was pretty easy to come up with a lot of them. There's a few that you maybe have to deliberate over. But I found myself with Toronto, like, not overthinking it or double thinking it, but I grew up in the Sundin era, right? And so for me, Sundin was my hero, and I appreciated so much about his game. And there would be a lot of kids that grew up in the Matthews era, and this is what they know. And he's the face of the franchise. But let me ask you guys, like, if you had to say who was the face of the franchise for the Leafs over whatever years that you've been watching this team or the history that you know, who is it? Is it Sundin? Is it Gilmour? Is it Clark? Is it Sittler? Is it Matthews? Like, I'll tell you my answer, and I had a hard time with it. I think my answer was Matt Sundin. And that's crazy because Austin Matthews, who I played with, just broke his record for most goals in franchise history. But you're right, it is complicated because, the playoff, the playoff shortcomings that, Austin and Mitch and Willie and John have been associated with. I don't know, like, even though they've made all this history, it's somewhat hard to, I think Leafs fans would say this, like, it's somewhat hard to really attach your heart to it. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
You could even go back and say it's like George Armstrong or Johnny Bauer.
Frank Mahovlich.
Like guys who won. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think Sittler was Sittler because it was him and Salming and McDonald and Palmatier, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. You need, like, Sundin never won.
No.
He just won a bit.
And Gilmour didn't win here.
No.
He won, but he didn't win.
He won
here.
less than Mats did.
Yeah. But I think where we have to grade that on the curve, though, right?
Yes.
We can't just make it, well, if they're not original six guys, they don't count. Like that, that really sort of, I think, undercuts the effort and energy and passion that Sundin, Gilmour, Matthews, all those guys have put into this.
No, but what I'm saying is the bar here just isn't as high as in other places.
I think you're totally right, Steve.
Yeah.
I think you're totally right. Like, what it was conference final
twice.
99
and 2002.
Okay. So 2 conference finals, and that's the bar, and these guys had 9 cracks at it, and we're still like, we revere the guys that got to the conference final, and which is crazy.
It's moments as well. Like, Sundin had at least one playoff overtime winner. I don't remember if he had any others. I know he had the one in Ottawa. Matthews has one. No one was in the building. Like,
that was the 2020.
And that, I feel like that matters.
Right.
I feel like that matters, man. It was in the bubble. It was a really frustrating game that everyone, even though they came back and won, like, still kind of hated a little bit. And it was a race the very next day when they got
lost.
Shut out.
What do you mean?
Stomped by
they lost the series.
Yeah.
And
and in all fairness, right? Like, the story's not done on Austin Matthews here, right? Like, he's a Leaf. He's under contract. He's still a Leaf. He's just shattered a very monumental record. So the story's not over yet. But yeah, like, I find that to be a very fascinating conversation. Look, what he did, I think if you called it, like, early in his career that he was going to do it, yeah, I mean, of course he was going to do it. The guy's been an incredible goal scorer right from the second he walked into the league. And maybe even more impressive is the fact that he's one of the best 5-on-5 scorers that we've seen in quite some time. And I know it's been a little underwhelming, like, the last couple years, but I don't know, man, what we've kind of witnessed from Austin Matthews, like a 69 goal season in this modern era is remarkable. It's wild. So he'll go down as one of the greatest goal scorers of all time. And he's going to continue doing it.
Yeah. No one since he stepped into the league is close.
Yeah.
And, right now you might go, Draisaitl. Draisaitl's played like 50 more games and has 30 or 40 fewer goals. Like, it's not close.
At the same game level, in his career that as Matthews, like same games played. Ovechkin has 5 less goals.
It's crazy.
At 28, so which is kind of crazy. Now, Frank, you've been. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, and just now that you brought up Ovi, remember there was that year, 2010, 2011, something like that. Ovi had like 32 goals, and the conversation started to pick up. This might be it.
Yeah,
right. Like the one trick pony. Like everyone's catching up to it. Psych. Like you were not catching. No.
Yeah,
he kept scoring 50 goals.
He did that. He had a slow start in the 48 game lockout shortened season, and he only had 32 goals. It was a 48-game season. Insane.
The Ovi example is perfect, too, because I brought it up a couple of weeks ago where it's like, Austin Matthews is still young relative to where he can win a cup and accomplish everything, because Ovi and the Caps missed the playoffs in the 2014 season, and everybody has those conversations about like, this is an all-time great who's never won anything. He's a bust and all that, and it takes another 4 years after that into his mid-30s to win that cup. So there's still time for Austin to rewrite history.
Ovi hoisted the cup with a full head of gray hair.
Yeah.
There's time.
The Washington Cup thing, like, I'm sure you guys have talked about this, right? Because we always talk about Ovi won it at 32, right? But I think the thing that maybe gets lost in all that, we look at the star player thing. We also lose sight of the fact that, like, Backstrom was there, Oshie was there, John Carlson was there, Matt Niskanen, was Brooks Orpik there, was Carl Alsner there? Like, I'm starting to think, like, the supporting cast that was around those guys, and I'm missing a bunch of guys. Kuznetsov was your other centerman, Tom Wilson.
Holtby in goal.
Right.
And he was great.
And I'm like, yeah, I get it. The star player finally won when he was 32, but go back and look at that roster and you're like, that's a pretty legit roster that the 32-year-old star had around him that eventually led to them winning a cup.
It goes back to the conversation at the beginning. It's a team game.
Yeah.
It's not on individuals in hockey. It's truly a team game.
Yeah. So the solution is staple all the money to 4 guys. Be really stubborn about it for half a decade and waste everyone's prime.
I love it. it. Frank, you've been really, really generous with your time today. So I know you got games to do today and a whole bunch of stuff with TSN. Please say hi to everybody over there for us. What I want to leave you with is a prediction that is completely unfair that we're going to stick on you and hold you to. I want to know, do the Toronto Maple Leafs make the playoffs this year? Yes or no?
I don't want to disappoint your fans. I know a rabid fan base. I would say, like, if you had to press me today, I would say no based on this fact, or not fact, this opinion, because it's not fact yet. All these teams keep winning games, and the amount that you need to climb in the standings is difficult right now. Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest thing that's going to get in their way, is that, I don't know, maybe Detroit's not that good of a team, but they're good enough to keep winning. Like, Montreal's got 7 guys injured and they just beat Dallas. Like, Ottawa lost their goaltender and they just won 2 in a row against, good teams. So, I mean, that's the thing that's going to hurt them, is that in this, and not to mention Florida's picked it up of late, like Tampa, Buffalo's winning 10 in a row. That's the biggest thing right now, is that the Leafs can pick up their game, and I have a lot of confidence that they will pick up their game, but everyone's plucking points off one another, and all these teams seem to find ways to win, and I just don't know if you can leapfrog it as much as they would need to.
There you go. Well, that's a reality I don't think anybody's willing to face yet.
Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I hope you're not right.
The reason we love having you on is we always learn something. So thank you so much for joining us. We think you're awesome and wish you the best of luck today in the games and obviously going forward as well.
Okay. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon. Thanks.
Hey, this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And listen, it's the new year. And you might be looking at some new things and going, I reevaluated over the holidays and I'd like to make some changes. Listen, you can't make changes anywhere else until you change what's going on between the years.
I got a question.
It can almost be more stressful because you're like, I'm supposed to be doing something different right now.
Yes, Jesse.
What happens if you won a fantasy football championship over the last little bit and your ego got too big and you need a therapist to like talk you through it?
Well, I think
could BetterHelp help you with that?
BetterHelp could definitely help you with that. Over 30,000 credentialed therapists. I don't know if anybody specializes in fantasy football per se.
Ego.
But ego,
Taming.
perhaps.
Yes.
Ego and id. You know, if we're getting really deep.
You talk to a therapist about losing to a guy who doesn't even know who his players are.
It's I'm going to need the therapy. Yeah, BetterHelp is one of the world's largest online therapy platforms, having served over 5 million people globally. Check it out, and we want to give you 10% off your first month. BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched up with an online qualified therapist. Sign up to get 10% off at BetterHelp.com/SDP. Again, that's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/SDP. All right, so by the way, Frank, just want to say how much I love Frank Corrado. He's the best.
Guys, was that good? Was that immaculate breakdown good?
It was amazing. So Anna Dua was at Maple Leafs practice, and she dropped all of the injury news that you need. First off, earlier this morning, you should know that William Nylander was put on IR retroactive. He has skated on his own today, but he's still day-to-day, which actually he's week-to-week. Day-to-day means less than a week. But anyway.
Yeah, no, they're just liars.
Jake McCabe has a lower body injury. He will likely be out a week, but might be back possibly sooner. That one I actually believe because I don't think that Jake McCabe ever gets hurt.
I do not. The next game he plays, I'll believe them.
Brandon Carlo had an ankle infection after a blocked shot, had to have foot surgery. Could be an option tomorrow.
Good.
Exciting.
Great. Jesus, they need him.
Chris Tanev is being evaluated for surgery this week. He's out long-term. We've heard that's a groin injury. So that sucks. A surgically repaired groin is going to take some time. Anthony Stolarz has been skating, still indefinite. Dakota Joshua is back in Toronto now. Remember, he stayed in Detroit after the game, had a great game, and then was
a kidney.
Yeah, lacerated kidney. Because hockey's nuts. So, listen, a lot of injuries, man. A lot of injuries. I have a question. The Leafs are going to need defense because Carlo might be back. McCabe is out. Myers and Riley
might play tomorrow.
Myers might play tomorrow, but Myers and Riley have struggled mightily. Like Morgan Riley had a particularly bad game against the Islanders, but I would argue he's been good offensively and bad defensively all season. The points are there, but what my concerns with Morgan Riley are now is the same concerns I had in May when we were at Sport Check, and I was telling you guys they got to sit down and talk to this guy and trade him.
It's the same concerns since he was drafted in 2012.
No, but I don't know that that's totally the case. I think at a certain point he did peak, and I just don't think he's peak anymore, right? And so
Carlo,
that deal was always expensive,
huge for him,
huge. But that deal was always expensive, and for what he was as a player, and I feel like now we're sort of having to pay the piper on that one because he's not a 72 point. Like you could forgive a lot of defensive issues when you're scoring 60 or 70 points a season, right?
Yeah.
Not happening anymore. And there's the defensive issues that are still there. Carlo coming back is great. Myers handles the puck like it's a live grenade. I don't know what happened to his confidence this year, but it is just not there.
I don't know what Matt Benning did in the previous game to be out of the lineup.
I thought he was good.
That was his Leafs debut. I didn't mention him once in the LFR video, which is a perfect game for a third pair guy.
Jesse and Steve, do you look at the rumored to be terminated Igor Zamula, who was traded from the Flyers to the Pens and did not report to Wilkes-Barre and is now going to be available and with multiple teams interested? You're looking for depth, right? You're looking for something.
You look. But they just called up Marshall Rafai,
who I like, and got injured in training camp.
And at some point, I think you're going to have to try him. I always, unless it's going to be a significant improvement, and you don't know that Zamula is going to be that, I think you should go with your guy,
who you know better.
Guy. You signed Rafai to a 3-year NHL contract, and not ELC. Mm-hmm. He got a multi-year extension, despite basically not playing. He got more years on his deal than he has played games in the NHL. And I imagine they intend to play him.
They had a good camp. He is up now. Good. He was called up.
Yeah.
So
the Marshall Rafai thing is something I had an issue with last season with the Leafs, where he played 63 games with the Marlies, but he spent so much time on the Leafs roster, and he'd just be out there on morning skate with like the extras, just skating around, staying ready, and they never played him. Didn't play a single game last season.
Yeah.
And he was up with the team for so much time. Just use him.
We love him. Oh, we love him, though.
Yeah.
We love him.
No,
We're like, okay, we'll love him enough to play him.
Yeah, so I hope that this time, now that he's up, they use him. Because if you're ever going to use him, it's right now where you have nobody on your roster.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, why sign him and do all this stuff and have him there just to not use him?
Yeah. Yeah. Zamula. I don't know.
Or do you just go with what you said? Like you said, you just go with what you have. And
I'm kind of like, what are we even talking about here? Like, is that what's going to right the ship?
No. But will it stop the bleeding?
Troy Stetcher, we were like, what are we doing? Troy Stetcher.
Boy, there's a guy I'm like, extend that man.
The top 2 plus minuses on the team, Jake McCabe at plus, I think it's 26, which is insane for a team that's like near last place in the East. And Troy Stetcher plus 11 in 22 games.
I'm worried about the team now that Jake McCabe is going to be out for a little bit, because he seems to be such a big piece of glue to this entire operation. And when he's not healthy, they can't play hockey.
The only saving grace is like if they get Carlo back, that's a right-handed shot, and it pushes a guy like OEL, who has been playing his offside, to the left, and you can maybe survive because of that, right? Because then you have Riley, OEL, and whoever you have in the lineup that night, basically Benoit, Rafai. Oh boy, it really drops off after those two, right? It really drops off after those two. Myers is on the right. So then you would have, I guess, Carlo, Stetcher. Yeah, it's either Myers or Benning, right?
One thing you said there, Adam, talking about Morgan, is they need help on D, right? But I think we're all resigned to the fact that they're not buying, right?
No, and there's
no situation where Treliving's like, I'm going to try and make this better by making a hockey move to sell assets to try and get better, right?
Which is why Zamula is a conversation, because this is an NHL player who's big and Brad likes that, and he's free.
Yeah.
Like
Troy Stetcher was, which made them better.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it's an interesting place they find themselves in. They've lost a lot of man games to injury. I'm sure they're leading the league in man games in injury this year.
They're up there.
They have to be. And so, okay. I guess you find out what else you have. And Marshall Rafai is a good place to start.
Sure. He'd be their 12th defenseman
that they've used this year. That just kind of speaks to how crazy this has been.
The 2 decors.
2 full decors. Yeah.
2 decors.
And neither particularly great, but no.
But
I do think offensively they're playing a lot better. You know what I'm excited about? I'm excited to see William Nylander in the new offensive system.
Me too.
Because guys are scoring again.
We did see a little bit, if I remember correct. What's really frustrating me, and I know it's got to be frustrating Treliving, and it's the NHL, so life isn't perfect, but we haven't gotten to see Stetcher with the full decor.
Yeah.
As part of the full decor, because then you could trot out something like Tanev, Carlo, Stetcher, friggin' McCabe, OEL, Riley. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
But because of the Tanev news, we know you're literally not going to see that.
Unless you make the playoffs. Because the rumor is he'd be back by mid-April. So you have to declare him out. And then I don't know if you could. That means you can bring him out in the playoffs. Which
the new rules, I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway, long story short, it's you have to be cap compliant in the playoffs. So yes, you could bring him back. Your lines that you dress have to be cap compliant. Anyway,
as long as he doesn't go on season-ending injury, and then he'd be done. Because once you're on that list, then you're done.
You're on it. You're Petrangelo'd, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of fascinating to see where the Leafs are now. There are other things going on. There are other things that we should talk about. Do we want? I'm going to give you guys a choice. Jesse brought in gifts for us. I'm not sure what these are. Do we want to get into those, or should we get into more hockey news and save that?
We can do the gifts. They're from our friends at Fanatics. Something happened over the break. You can pull up your boxes right now.
All right.
They sent over these so you guys could celebrate the Florida Panthers in the
Man.
Boston. Oh my shit. Goodness.
Drop the microphone. But we're okay.
Oh gosh.
All right.
Let me just. Oh gosh. I gotta get that out of this.
How are we doing?
It's fine. We're good. Everybody's good.
Bang, 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 bang. Oh, what is this? The NHL Stadium Series is about big moments, fresh air, and the kind of energy that you only get when the game meets the open sky. This jersey was made to celebrate that feeling, the city, the team, and the fans. Thanks for being part of that moment. We can't wait to see how you make it yours.
Oh.
And it is a Boston Bruins jersey.
All right, guys. Well, I get my favorite as my noted favorite jersey, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
There it is.
There it is.
You know what? Better in person. Better in person.
Oh, look at him
really?
backtrack.
Really?
Look at him backtrack.
Better in person. I'll give it that. Still not my
yeah.
favorite. It's not my favorite.
So we had the Panthers and the who was the New York Rangers. I keep saying the wrong teams. The Panthers and Rangers play the game over the holiday break. They all arrived in Ferraris, I think it was. I'll show you this.
Yeah, Miami Vice. Right?
Yeah, the Miami Vice stuff. So, Matt, you can play that video there of all the Panthers
That's sick.
arriving
That's
in
sick.
the
Like,
Ferraris.
I
in
thought
Florida.
this was so fun.
That's fun. So we had those. We rated those jerseys, and then we had the Lightning and Bruins jerseys on the show. We rated them, and now we have them in person for the game that's going to take place early Feb, I believe.
Matty,
it is.
can you ISO me for a sec? That should
Adam.
have been the jersey patch.
You're changing your mind?
No, I'm not. This should
Okay.
have been the jersey patch.
No.
That should have been on the front of the jersey. But okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I am glad
if the Leafs lose to the Lightning the next time they play, I'll wear it the whole show.
And Steve, because you are a big fan of this team, you have Boston Bruins merch.
That's so good. To go with the Panthers jersey I got too. Thank you.
You should put it on.
yeah.
It's going to be a great screen grab.
No.
Bruins jersey, Steve.
Yeah.
Ray Bork asked me to put on a Bruins jersey, so you put it on. Ray Bork ain't here. Ray Bork ain't here.
We're not Ray Bork, I guess, Jesse.
How did we not put it on the Tampa jersey?
I said if the Leafs lose to Tampa the next time they play, I'll wear it for a whole show.
Ooh.
All right?
I
Lightning fans, you got a deal there, okay?
am not dumb enough to make that promise.
Well, I kind of know that they might, but I want to talk a little bit about what happened last night. New Jersey had a couple of own goals from a big name, and I think Devils fans are pissed. I think there's a few things going on here.
I think the booing would illustrate that.
My buddy,
Yeah.
my buddy called Luke Hughes Thanasis Hughes, and it's the most devastating intersports chirp I've heard in a long time.
Because there's only one Thanasis, right?
There sure is.
You
That's
could-
NBA champion.
You could say
Thanasis.
Brent Hughes, but no one's going to get the Brent Gretzky
Right.
reference, right? Luke Hughes was booed no less than 9 times every time he touched the puck after 2 own goals. And this, I think, speaks to a wider issue in New Jersey, which is Devils fans are pissed that they missed out on Quinn Hughes.
Yep.
They had the prime opportunity to get him. I think the Devils were not ready because it was earlier than they expected Quinn Hughes to be available.
So they booed his brother.
And Dougie Hamilton and Andre Palat obviously didn't want to accept trades elsewhere. They've been asked. They won't waive. And so I think to me, it's less about Luke Hughes. And this is an outsider's opinion, less about Luke Hughes, more about frustration with Tom Fitzgerald.
Man, I've been getting a ton of it in the DMs.
Oh, yeah? Like Devils fans?
Ton of it in the DMs. I've seen it all over the timeline. That might be the hottest seat in the NHL right now.
Just because he couldn't get the Quinn Hughes deal done.
And they stink.
And they stink. And they're soft.
They stink and they're soft. They used to be good and soft.
Matthew Nyes saying to is it Heischer?
Nico Heischer.
Saying like, okay, are we gonna go or are we gonna go? Like what stop talking to me. If you want to fight, let's fight.
But here's the thing, it's a domino effect.
Right.
Things need to happen. Nyes goes, are we going or are we going? Heischer steps up. The kid gets booed. Heischer steps up. And his teammates are stepping up. If this continues and the Devils fans, I imagine, are going to keep the pressure on, you either got to win your way out of this or you have to decide as an ownership group if you want one of your top paid players getting booed every night.
Yeah.
And, not to make it about the Leafs, but this fan base would be getting killed if we behave this way. And I'm not criticizing Devils fans for that.
They're allowed to boo. They should boo.
They're
They should
allowed
boo
to
if they want to.
I just like to point out every time that Leaf fans are not the only fan bases with friggin' rabies.
We're the most
What-
sensitive about
Yeah.
it, though. So we got to let it go.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And by we, do you mean Steven?
No, I mean Leaf fans. Stop defending it. If you want to boo the team, boo the team. You paid the money.
Yeah. It's every time.
But they
guy
booed the
touched
player,
puck.
which is what the Leafs did to Marner on his way out, which is I mean, the Game 7 playoffs, they booed Marner every time he touched the puck.
I kind of feel like that's a more appropriate time. You're getting killed 6-1 on home ice in a game that's going to end your season, right? This is a regular season game in January. You still have a realistic shot at the playoffs. The reason you're not in the playoffs is like pretty explainable. Jack Hughes went down for a while. He's back. He's got the weird little mitten on. Tom Fitzgerald, I think, might get fired by the time he's going to the Olympics with Team USA.
Can I say 3 things about Luke Hughes specifically?
Hit us up.
On that issue
Hit us up.
in particular. One, Nico Hischier wasn't scheduled to speak last night. He came out just to defend and answer questions to the media to defend Luke Hughes.
There's a leader.
That's a captain.
Yes, he's doing his job here.
Yeah, that was awesome. David St. Louis, who writes for Elite Prospects, had this tweet, which I think illustrates kind of how Devils fans are feeling about Luke Hughes.
You should read the Charlie O'Connor tweet.
I can read that one too.
Yeah. What? Because David is responding to Charlie. He's responding. You're just going to ignore. Read the Charlie one. It's a crazy tweet.
Yeah, maybe we're getting there.
Oh my. So, okay, read it in the wrong order. Go.
So David St. Louis had this tweet about Luke Hughes, which I think perfectly illustrates what the Devils fans are feeling about Hughes. He was quoting Charlie O'Connor, who said, "You feel a bit bad piling on Luke Hughes on what is truly just a nightmare night for him. But frankly, we're kind of long past due a national conversation about whether he's actually a good NHL defenseman, because he doesn't often look like one. His underlying numbers are bad." So there you go.
Thanks, man.
Cool. Maybe we were getting there.
Oh, maybe.
David said, "That has been the theme since his draft year. Luke Hughes looks great when skating with the puck. The tools are all there, but the hockey sense was also always missing. That couldn't be said or talked about for years, despite being evident. Now, his own fan base is turning against him." And lastly, that's 2 of 3. Here is Luke Hughes, who was...
No. Read the Charlie O'Connor tweet.
who was not pleased with his own performance last night. This is what he had to say.
You control, and you don't get rewarded as a team.
Yeah, I mean, it's aggravating. I think the team played pretty good tonight and did a lot of good things.
Do you feel like the frustration from the fans was warranted, or do you feel like that's just the environment right now?
I mean, it is what it is. It's part of sports. Obviously, I made a couple mistakes today, and I got to be better. And it is what it is.
This is a group that has your back fully. I mean, how much does that mean to you just to see your teammates come out here and sort of say, everyone makes mistakes in these games?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That's what a team does, and we got a lot of great guys in this room, and we got a really good team. Just proud of how the guys played today. I just got to be better.
One of the things that Jake was saying is, he was sort of asked, "Is this a setback?" He said, "No, it's just a loss. It's just one loss," and like that's sort of the mentality we have to have here going forward in the second half.
Yeah, just gotta obviously learn from our mistakes, and then go day by day. Right back to work tomorrow.
When Jake basically tries to pick you up, what did that mean for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a team sport. Jake's a great guy. He's a big leader on our team, and he's a big reason why we've had success.
I gotta say,
what?
I just want to say, what Luke Hughes is experiencing here is a very passionate hockey market.
Of course.
But this is what happens when you go from making $900,000 to $9 million. It
matters.
He made $925,000 last year. He makes $9 million this year. You are under a different spotlight. It's the same thing that's happened with Evan Bouchard. When people lose their minds on Evan, it's not cute anymore when you're making $11 million or whatever he makes.
10
something.
And a half?
Yeah. It's the same thing Marner Matthews Nylander went through here in Toronto. It wasn't cute when Nylander, who held out, rightly or wrongly, came back and was absolutely shit that first season. Now, he missed training camp, whatever, but it wasn't good. And it took him a while to recover from that. It wasn't cute when Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews went to the playoffs with those big contracts, and Mitch more than Austin disappeared. Both disappeared, but Mitch more than Austin.
The money matters.
The money matters.
Yeah.
Fans pay attention to that, and They don't have Quinn Hughes. If they have Quinn Hughes and Luke plays like that, I don't think there's any boos.
I think the one thing that Devils fans have to wear here is don't count your chickens before they hatch. And I think a lot of Devils fans, you could have got a Quinn Hughes jersey. And I think they were all expecting to get one. And there was a mood shift when that deal to the Wild happened. There was a mood shift. And it didn't help that the Devils were bad around it. But they all thought they were getting this guy and they didn't get him.
Do you also think, and the Devils have been soft for a few years now.
It's bad.
Do you also think that they're not playing their city's brand of hockey? Like, I think one of the things that I think frustrates Toronto fans about the way that the Leafs of the previous, specifically half decade, played was there was not a lot of toughness up front. And the Toronto Maple Leaf fans like toughness. We like people. We don't have to be the biggest guy in the room. Doug Gilmour wasn't. But you want your team to show some spit, some fire, something where you're going to grab somebody after the goalie getting run. Like, one of the biggest conversations we had early in the season was Mason Marchment literally lying on top of Anthony Stolarz and Brandon Carlo doing nothing about it. And that's something that pisses Leaf fans off. New Jersey, the best New Jersey teams we saw with Scott Stevens and Danico and Eliash and Holik and all those guys that I can remember kicking our ass.
What was his name? Scott Niedermayer?
Scott Niedermayer, best defenseman, one of the best defensemen ever, and probably still one of the most underrated.
Yeah.
Those teams were tough as fucking nails, man.
They were not the most talented.
No, but they were tough.
They had talent.
Yeah.
But no, if you crossed their blue line, there was a definite possibility you might die.
Yes. And I just feel like I think what compounds not winning, and I can experience this, I say this as a Toronto fan because we went through it, is when you are not fighting back as well. I always reference Jesse and I in the Scotiabank box, Game 3, Boston-Toronto 2 seasons ago, where John Tavares is getting ragdolled. And I said to Jesse, I'm like, I just wish once he would turn around and cold cock a guy. Who cares if you take the penalty? You're losing the game anyway. Just punch him in the teeth. And when he brushes his teeth the next morning and they hurt, he's good. They know, hey, I can't probably do that to Tavares without covering my own face.
Yeah.
I want that. Like, you look at Evgeny Malkin, psychotic, unbelievable player.
You have to give him room.
Nikita Kucherov, psychotic. You have to give him room. I don't see anybody like that.
When I
on New
eat
Jersey.
Tomorrow, I would like it to be painless.
Yes. And I feel like...
Is it worth it?
So I feel like there's... the fact that the team's underperforming and they're talented, the fact that they're kind of soft, the fact that Luke Hughes has graduated from $900,000 to $9 million, and they didn't get Quinn. There's a lot of things here.
I don't know what I was going to say earlier. I don't know Luke Hughes' voice, really, because I
felt for him in that press conference.
Yeah, I haven't seen his interviews as much as I've seen his two brothers. They're all soft-spoken guys. He sounds like he's on the verge of tears. Maybe that's just how he sounds all the time. I don't know. That's a situation that has to be fixed fast. Like, the first thing I thought of is when Brian Burke fired Ron Wilson. And, it's the first time and only time, really, I can think of a GM justifying a decision they made based on, it wasn't, oh, yeah, we had to make a change because we're not performing well enough. He's like, no, it was cruel and unusual torture to subject Ron to that for another night. At some point, something's going to have to give. And what I think is very telling, I haven't seen a single person bring up Keefe's name. Maybe I'm just not on the right corners of the internet. I don't think it's him. But with Quinn Hughes not getting traded to the Devils, their cap situation was part of that. I still think Devils probably don't come up with a package as good as what Minnesota did. Maybe. I guess we'll never know. But I was listening to 32 Thoughts today. Kovacevic is on LTIR, I guess. Mm-hmm. They don't even have the cap space to bring him back? What a mess. Mm-hmm. And it's unjustifiable.
Yeah, the reason that Fitzgerald couldn't put a package together to get Hughes is because he put himself in cap hell. and they're up against it, and they're in trouble of his own doing, and that's the reason they couldn't maneuver anything to send a good package to Vancouver.
At some point, someone has to pay.
Yeah,
and he's candidate numero uno.
The Luke Hughes thing about the money mattering, I think, is so important because that is the highest paid player on the team. He's tied with Dougie Hamilton at $9 million, and the context around which they are booing is it's the brother of the star center. He's the highest paid player. He just got all that money, and you allow 2 goals there in a season that's already tumultuous for your team. You're responsible for 2 goals going into your own net.
Allowed and arguably scored.
Right? Yeah. Like, so I get why Devils fans were angry at this specific player because all of those things matter in context.
Well, I'm not chirping them, but like this is getting ugly fast.
Yeah, it's year 1. Year 1 of 7. He just signed it at 7 years. He's getting booed.
And I want to just quickly look up the Devils contract situation here because you look at Dougie Hamilton, he's got 3 more years.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, it's not like that's expiring anytime soon. And Andre Palat, I'm just looking up here, he's got 2. And he's got a no move and a partial no trade. And so does Dougie Hamilton. No move and a 10-team no trade for both of these guys. And, my question is, Dougie Hamilton has had a ton of injuries. Is Dougie Hamilton a guy that they could trade at the deadline to another player or another team? Sure, I think teams would want them, but I don't know that they're going to want $9 million, 2 more years of Dougie Hamilton right now. I want to see more proof of concept there. And then Palat, who's always been a wonderful playoff performer specifically, which is why they got him. At $6 million, 34 years old, another year left. Like, I don't know how you get that one. There's only 10 teams you can trade him to.
They have Cholowski? Sorry, you got the Puckpedia. Dennis Cholowski?
Yeah.
I thought that guy retired years ago.
Well, there you go.
That's good for him. You know what? There is hope for them, and they need to play Dennis Cholowski.
So they're going to have to get creative and perhaps swap other bad money or something like that. They're going to have to figure, or they're going to be retaining. And I don't know even what the retention slots are.
Right. So what
nothing.
They're
retained.
Screwed.
Well, you're gonna have to retain.
They're in a really bad way, and you're like, well, they're gonna have to do this. They're gonna have to do that. Well, we already know they've tried. If they've tried and failed, there's all the more reason to make the decisions that have to be made.
Very, very interesting stuff. So we'll monitor New Jersey. I feel like you said, Steve, hey, they gotta fix this quickly. I don't know that they can. That's the scary part. And I don't think Sheldon Keefe is the problem there. I think that's why Devils fans are not going after him. I don't think he is.
I haven't even heard.
I think Sheldon's a very good coach.
And I mean, like, listen, lots of things have gone wrong beyond their control.
Mm-hmm.
The Hughes injury with all the mystique around it.
Yeah.
Freak accident, whatever. But like also Timo Meier, like missing time to deal with something.
Yep.
That's his business.
Yep.
But the schedule is the schedule. They don't stop the games.
Steve, by the way, Dennis Cholowski played 2 playoff games for the Devils last season.
Get out of here.
There's hope for everyone.
6 regular season games, but he got into 2 playoff games.
Yeah, shout out Dennis Cholowski.
Yeah. He's his first round pick in 2016.
He played 33 games. He scored 3 goals with the Islanders last year. Yeah. That's former, I believe, first round pick, Dennis Cholowski.
Deadline move.
Wow.
So he got into 6 games post deadline for the Devils, and then they played him 2 playoff games.
They needed him.
He played for the Kraken? Get out of here. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Dennis Cholowski.
Almost 200 games, 171.
So good for friggin' him.
Dennis Cholowski hit 200 NHL career games.
Once the Devils finally clear space, yes.
There you go. Now, there were a couple of suspensions and a couple of non-suspensions we needed to talk about over the break. I don't love spending too much time on this because the answer is always the same, which is Steve is going to say George Peros
sucks a lot.
Oh, I thought you were going to say resign.
He's a wage thief. And yeah, resign.
A wage thief.
He doesn't do his job. He's just a wage thief.
Now, do you guys think, let's put our conspiracy theory hats on, okay?
Okay.
Do you guys think that Brad Marchand was not suspended for the head hit on Mike Matheson because he had to play in the outdoor game the next day?
Yes. Blatantly, nakedly, disgracefully, yes.
That was a money call.
Answer, but Jesse being voice of reason.
Yeah, no, that was a money call. Like
Money
we
call.
want Brad Marchand in this outdoor game. There's a lot of money and PR going into that. We're not suspending him. That's ridiculous. I think it was very obvious and transparent that was the case.
Yeah, because you don't want to rob the Florida fans of that. Also, Mike Matheson, fuck you and your brain cells, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
He missed did he miss a game? He missed a practice.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, and why was that? Oh, I think it was the traumatic blow to the head.
Yeah, he did miss a game.
Yeah. So Brad got to do whatever he wanted the day before the outdoor game because he knew he was going to play in that game.
Veteran move. Veteran move. You can hit anyone you want, do whatever the fuck you want before an outdoor game.
We have 2 sucker punch suspensions.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is John Beecher, who's having a really rough go in Calgary. He's just not a great season.
And got injured
Yeah.
on the play that got him suspended.
So he took a swing at Michael McCarron while the refs were trying to break them up. And
that was a sucker punch.
that seemed to me like pretty obvious one game.
The fight's over and he clocked a guy.
Yeah, not good. The interesting one, the Logan Stanley one is interesting because Brady Tkachuk was pretty obvious with the ref going, I did not want to fight him. And had
Brady Tkachuk?
Yeah, Brady Tkachuk had he said I wasn't looking. Did you see him afterwards?
Yeah,
because he had the bandage on his hand.
Do you want to just show the Beecher one for the audience?
Sure.
Here's Beecher and McCarron.
Yeah.
Here he is. So he's there in the scrum right here, and the refs are in the middle. There's 2 of them, and he goes and he cocks him
it's
right
chicken
there.
shit.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that. There's the punch. You see it there. Can't do that. That's a game. And the NHL was right to suspend him there.
Yes.
He did it to fire up the boys. Like, look at the bench.
Oh yeah,
Look
they
at the
loved
bench.
it. Yeah,
It's right.
They love
no,
it.
that's one you take.
It's important that it
this.
matters that this is right in front of the Flames bench. He's like, you know what? I'm doing this for the boys. Whack!
Look out, they're all jacked.
And he drops them, and they're all like, yeah. But nope, sorry, you're suspended.
Look.
Yeah, look at who is that? Is that Uyghur? I can't tell. It's so
faces.
It's so grainy. The whole bench. Look at Nas. Yeah, no, they're fired up, but that's a chicken. Oh wait, Uyghur's on the ice, you idiot. He fired up the boys, but that's a full on sucker punch.
And if you're having a rough season, you want to fire up the boys.
Yeah,
right?
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. But with the Brady Tkachuk thing, I know Sens fans are like, oh, just because it's Brady Tkachuk. Well, it matters who you are. And
so Brady was saying to the ref, just so I can explain it.
Yeah.
He got into it with Logan Stanley. And Logan Stanley is huge, right?
He's 6'7", over 230. He's literally one of the biggest players in the league.
You'd have to be crazy to actually fight him. But Brady and him are getting into it as they do.
Brady's huge, by the way.
And Logan punches him, and Brady's gloves are not off.
Yeah.
And Brady says to the ref, hey, I have a thing on my hand. I absolutely am not.
He's full of shit.
Wanting to fight.
He's completely
So you
full
think
of
he's
shit.
full of shit. I'm interested. So Jesse, let's run it through here. So Brady and Logan, Brady basically pushes Logan sort of into the bench and then kind of gets him in the face.
They pushed each other.
Stick.
And
they took turns.
now Logan
tried
did
to shove
take his
him.
helmet off.
Oh, you mean Brady's?
Yeah, Logan took Brady's helmet off, and then he sucker punches Brady, which is where I think the suspension comes in.
So they go there.
Brady, okay, so
Wham.
here's the thing. Brady's right hand is messed up.
Yeah.
Cool. You're grabbing me with your left and you're throwing your patented little rabbit punches at me. You're full of shit. Okay, you didn't have your gloves off, so you weren't going to... No, but you were doing your little Brady Tkachuk thing that your brother also does. I wasn't looking. You're never looking.
They don't fight very
I
much.
pointed this out less than a week before this happened with the Leaf Sens game because Brady was connected with, I don't remember who the Leaf was, but he's doing that thing where both, I don't know how it's genetic, but they will grab you, they're not looking at you, and they punch you. Oh, veteran move, savvy veteran. Is it a veteran move if we all know what's fucking happening? Like, are the refs just this stupid?
It's still a veteran move.
Like, I guess they're just this stupid then.
Yeah.
So Brady being like, oh, my hand. Well, that's not the one you were hitting him with. You're full of shit. But
you also can't do what Logan Stanley did.
Stanley glove off punches him right in the face.
Well, he's not looking. He's not looking either.
You're doing a lot of...
Okay. Here. Let me drop some veteran savvy on you.
Okay.
A 6'7", 230-pound man has you in his hands. Look.
All right, Jesse, what do you think here?
Can I play the Department of Player Safety?
Sure.
All right, so we'll listen to this. This is their explanation for what's going on. Our favorite voiceover man, high sticking history, coming at the end.
Who is this guy? I wish we knew. Jim?
Jim.
All right, let's hear from Jim.
Saturday night in Ottawa, Jets defenseman Logan Stanley was penalized for throwing a hard, ungloved punch to the face of Senators forward Brady Tkachuk. As the video shows, Tkachuk finishes a check on Stanley by the player's bench, and the two become entangled, with Stanley grabbing onto Tkachuk and causing his helmet to come off. As the two are tied up, Tkachuk continues to monitor the play and gives no indication he is prepared for the interaction to escalate to a fight.
Stop!
While Tkachuk
You've lost. How far into the video are we?
35 seconds.
Cool. You have no credibility and you're lying. He said, with a straight voice,
Show what's happening.
Brady Tkachuk continues to monitor the play. He's got the man ass up on the bench. Are you fucking with us?
Brady Tkachuk is pinning him to the Sens bench.
And by the way, Logan Stanley has fallen back so far that his left leg is par with Tkachuk's head.
Yeah.
Every day, in every way, it is not a professional hockey league. That's shameful. Good Lord.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
But Logan Stanley did still cock him.
Yeah, okay,
that's a
fine.
play.
But why not just say, as you can see here, Brady Tkachuk is walking home with his groceries, minding his own business. Like, fuck off. He's dumping the guy over the ropes, Royal Rumble style, and he's monitoring the play. Fuck off. All right, play it.
Tkachuk continues to monitor the play and gives no indication he is prepared for the interaction to escalate to a fight.
Monitoring the play.
While Tkachuk remains focused on the play, Stanley sheds both gloves and throws a hard, bare-knuckle punch directly to the face of Tkachuk. This is roughing.
Yeah.
It is important to note that at no point in this altercation does Tkachuk show any interest in participating in a fight. Tkachuk's gloves remain on his hands, and he gives no indication that he is a willing or suspecting combatant as he continues to monitor the play down ice rather than focusing directly on Stanley. With no reason to suspect that Tkachuk is ready or willing to fight.
We have to back up. How did they do it twice? They did it twice in the same video.
In this instance, where Brady Tkachuk, I almost called him Matthew, has Logan Stanley pinned to the bench.
Yeah.
The NHL is arguing that Brady Tkachuk is monitoring the play down ice. That's a quote.
Brady Tkachuk is taking a phone call with his accountant to work on his taxes. Are you fucking with us right now?
No, they're not.
One of these videos that comes out, I'm like, this is the Ministry of Propaganda. Like, what the fuck are we actually doing?
Monitoring the play down ice.
Here he is. Here, show him monitoring the play.
Down ice.
There he is.
Yeah, no,
he's monitoring. Here's what would make these videos a million times better.
He also doesn't have his helmet on.
Yeah, because Logan Stanley
should
just took
immediately
it off.
leave the ice.
Yeah. No, I think what he should do is Goldberg spear a guy into his own bench while another player fucks with him, apparently. Like, who is that?
Oh, yeah.
So what would make these videos so much better is if they allowed me to edit and interrupt them. Because
that's what this podcast
at no point does Brady Tkachuk show that he's a willing combatant in a fight. Yes, but he is very much a willing participant in shithousery.
Yes.
Which is what he always fucking does.
Yep.
Both of them. Play it. Play more of these liars.
There, here we go. Let's go. Work it back.
Remain on his hands, and he gives no indication that he is a willing or suspecting combatant as he continues to monitor the play down ice rather than focusing directly on Stanley. With no reason to suspect that Tkachuk is ready or willing to fight, Stanley still drops his gloves and delivers a forceful, bare-fisted punch to Tkachuk's face at a time when Tkachuk is not poised to defend himself.
Can't do that.
To summarize,
Key points.
This is roughing.
Yeah.
Stanley has been neither fined nor suspended previously in his 242-game NHL career.
There you go.
Now, he just fire blasts him in the face. Sens fans were mad, and they probably had good reason to be mad that I believe the Jets came away with the power play here. which is kind of nuts. And part of me wonders if he's given 5 in the moment, does he get a game? I'm not sure, because to me, because essentially what they're saying with a game suspension to each is what Stanley and Beecher did is the same. And I think the vast majority of hockey fans would disagree with that. I think. Like, what Beecher did is so very clearly chicken shit to me. Whereas Stanley has reason to believe there's a paw coming directly at his face. Oh, but his hand, fuck your hand. You're grabbing me. I'll beat the shit out of you. How about that? Maybe you should make different decisions since your health situation is different than it was the last time we played. You have limitations because your hand, behave differently. You're not going to? Here's a little fist for you.
I get the suspension.
I get it too.
I get the suspension.
I think they actually made the right decision.
I think they did too.
I think Brady, so if you're talking about the penalties, he got a 10 minutes for misconduct. Logan Stanley got 2 minutes for roughing and 2 minutes for removing an opponent's helmet. So it's 4 minutes to Logan, but 10 minutes to Brady. And I think Logan Stanley deserved that suspension in that instance.
Yeah. I mean, it's a glove off punch to a guy who has both gloves on.
You can't do that.
Yeah. But I would never. I can't.
Yeah, but I got no problem with any of that.
What?
That's how they play hockey. That's the gamesmanship of the Kachucks. It's like, you hate it because it's them and they're rats, but like that's also nothing that deserves a suspension.
No. Right, but
I can if he wants to play chicken shit and that's his game and it works, more power to him.
The NHL though makes these decisions all the time where a player has no credibility because of who they are and their history. Michael Bunting. Absolutely no credibility with the league and no leeway. Nazem Kadri, no credibility with the league, the Department of Player Safety, no leeway, no nothing. And that's earned. Mm-hmm. It's very earned. And you could go down the list, dude, Brendan Gallagher, like you don't have to just do Leafs and former Leafs, right? Brady Tkachuk is given credibility by the league and deserves absolutely none.
I think in this instance, that doesn't even matter. Because he got punched in the face when he wasn't fighting.
Yeah, and you give these old guys, you give these old guys who work for the league truth serum, they'll be like, yeah, I'd have done it too. All of them.
Yeah,
every single one of them.
But
and you get suspended.
And they would have.
Talk a guy.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I look at those two incidences as like kind of similar in the way that the other
they're similar.
Does. Yeah,
they're similar.
Dudes punching guys in the face when it's not the moment to do it.
Yeah. Well.
I'm on Team Brady.
You're the Jets? Oh, yeah? You're the Jets? You're 32nd?
In this instance, I'd be Team Brady.
Yeah, you're 32nd in the league? Punch him in the face.
Mm-hmm. And he did.
And he did?
And he gets suspended. It seems like everybody go your separate ways. We're fair.
And he will not pay for the next several dinners.
Well, we'll see about that. I think it's sort of fascinating. The way that all played out, mostly because I think the thing that bothers you is not that Logan Stanley got suspended. It's their characterization of Brady Tkachuk. It has nothing to do with Logan Stanley.
Your whole issue is with that man personally.
Brady Tkachuk, pictured here, serving soup to the homeless on Christmas Eve. What the fuck are we doing?
Brady Tkachuk petting dogs.
Man.
Brady Tkachuk,
puppies.
seen here rescuing dogs from a kill shelter, stuffing them into his van and driving away in the middle of the night. What are we talking about?
Building LeBreton Flats all by himself.
Wow, that's crazy how he's done that. Yeah, it's
my God.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Winnipeg Jets because Kevin Cheveldayoff.
Did he get fired today or what?
He did not, but he had his midseason presser availability, and they've lost 9 straight. And one of the things that I think has come to being an issue with Winnipeg Jets fans with the team is the fact that their drafting record isn't all that great. And when you already have a market that's tough to sign free agents in, and the free agent pickup you made this year in Jonathan Toews has largely not worked out the way you'd hoped, you start to look at other things. And guys like Brad Lambert and Vinny Heinola, who are apparently now available via trade, but they won't play them. it sort of becomes so it's sort of like, well, what do we, okay, so we're gonna sewer our own dudes.
Brad Lambert might turn out. Vinny Heinola's waiver guy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they're talking about him like he's the guy they just drafted. No, he's the guy you've poisoned basically over half of a decade.
Yeah. He was asked, by the way, today, what about there are some concerns about the organization's ability to draft and develop since 2017. And he said, certainly it's a concerning thing when you've traded a bunch of draft picks, or some of the draft picks you've made haven't gotten to that level. Maybe not having some guys totally ready forced us to make some decisions in the summer that we did. Some of those things worked. Some of the things are not working. Some are still a work in progress. I do think that we do have some players that are ready to kick in the door. He's talking about Elias Salmonson.
Where is he today?
Well, exactly. 32nd in the league, right? So it's difficult. It's difficult really to judge that. But I do find that the Jets have put themselves in a tough spot here, because you did bring back Jonathan Toews on a very expensive contract for a guy that hasn't played in a couple of years and is 37.
And you
like
continue
a 37-year-old at any point making $5.25 million is a risk. Here's a guy who hasn't played since he was 35, and when he was 35 wasn't that great.
And hasn't been training with an NHL team. This is not Gabriel Landeskog.
Right. So, I do kind of wonder about what they're going to do. He did say you go into the season, you have very high expectations. Your first job is to get in the playoffs. To this point, obviously, it's been very disappointing. We have not, I think, to a man, top to bottom, and it starts with me. And we need to find a way to be better. He's giving you GM quotes, largely like Treliving had to give when the Leafs were really sputtering in November and he talked to the media. What I find fascinating here is I don't know what their next move possibly could be. You're sitting 32nd. Do you try to improve, or do you just accept what you have? And I don't even know if they have their first pick this year.
It's difficult because you just won the President's Trophy.
Yeah.
Is it wrong that I don't blame the Winnipeg Jets at all for the situation they are in? They were the best team in the National Hockey League last year. They had a decent playoffs where they took a very good team to deep into the round. Like, it was not a bad year for the Jets, and I wouldn't look at their team and be like, man, they're gonna be last on January 5th.
It'd be shocking.
You lost the reigning MVP
for a little bit.
Well, it ruined their season. They were doing okay.
He's been back now, and they haven't turned it around. Like, right. I don't think that was just the thing that's gone wrong. I think the entire depth of the team is what's gone wrong.
I think it started it downhill, though.
Sure, but I don't know if Hellebuck's playing that whole time if they pick up that many more wins. It's just they've completely dropped off from what they were last season. But if you're the GM of the President's Trophy winning team, you can't make wholesale changes and change the roster completely coming into the season. Now that they've played out who they are, now you have to make some moves, but I don't blame him for what the team was in October.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you are in October, you got to play it out a little, because this was a very good team. You expected to turn around. And now that it hasn't, you got to pivot and move. But up until this point, I don't know if Kevin Cheveldayoff deserves much blame.
You know what's interesting about the Jets? They're old. They're quite old.
Surprisingly.
Very old. Let me give you some names. Scheifele, 32, in his prime, playing great. Velarde's been great since he got there. Kyle Connor's 29 now. Nino Niederreiter's 33. Iafallo's 32. Nyquist is 36. Lowry's 32. Perfetti, who, anything they can not to play that guy.
He has 8 points.
I know, it's
in
great.
26 games.
Nemesnikov, 33. Tays, 37. Pearson, 33. And then on defense, Pionk's 30. Morrissey's 30. Sandberg's 26. DeMello's 32. Luke Schen's 36 when he plays. Colin Miller's 33. And then you got Logan Stanley and Hayden Fleury, who are 27 and 29. This is not a young team. And so what I think is going to happen here is the Jets got to make a call. It can't be like, oh, we'll give you Brad Lambert and Vinny Heinola. You're going to have to sell.
Can I make a point there about Luke Schenn?
Yeah.
So there was some noise about he was sitting at 1,099 games coming into Toronto. He has a chance to play game 1,100 in Toronto. And people are like, is 1,100 a milestone? Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Everything after 1,000.
Yep.
Every 100 games is definitely a milestone. You're 32nd. You have a chance to do something cool for a vet in Toronto, or like where it all started. And It's one thing if you do that, if you make that decision and you win and it justifies the decision, even though it didn't make everyone happy, it justifies the decision. You blew a 4-1 lead and lost. That's a tough ride. Tough ride, man.
Yeah. It's going to be, is it getting close to, is this a good opportunity for the Jets to retool? Because they're not bad. As Jesse said, they won the President's Trophy last year.
I mean, I think they're pretty good for a last place team.
Yeah, as far as
like I do
last year's last place teams.
I do authentically mean that.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
When I heard they were in last, I was surprised. Because I don't think it's a bad hockey.
I got a thought.
Okay.
And it's very Toronto of me, but bear with me, Jets fans. I think the problem's the coach. I saw that game and he
didn't look like a guy with a lot of answers.
No, and I don't imagine that, the Winnipeg Sports Group is pumped about, paying out Scott Arniel and bringing somebody else in, but kind of have heard through the grapevine that he's not the most popular character wherever he's gone. And there have been a few people that have publicly spoke out on it. That might just be personal experience or whatever, but and again, it's not crazy that a head coach wouldn't be the most popular guy in the room. Plenty of head coaches are hated and still get great results. I think last year he had the Hart and Vezina Trophy winner.
Mm-hmm.
And show me a guy that doesn't do well when you've got a goalie Hart Vezina Trophy winner.
It's hard to lose.
Hard to lose when you've got the best.
First one since Carey Price.
Yeah, like this is, and Connor Hellebuck is first ballot Hall of Famer. The second he goes, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah,
he's unbelievable. And I just feel like maybe that was masking or wallpapering some shit. And we kind of saw them sputter a bit in the first round. Barely got through St. Louis.
Crazy comeback.
Yeah, crazy comeback, but barely got through.
Couldn't believe they pulled that off.
And, St. Louis doesn't look like a particularly great team this year, but the Jets just look worse. Is there something to the fact that perhaps, the Leafs, we were having serious conversations about Berube when we left off last time. Savard has left. Sullivan and Lalonde have taken over offensive things, and instantly things got better. Instantly. I'm not necessarily even saying it needs to be Scott Arniel, but is there a change there that can be made where you could get this team back to more than one line scoring?
So this is where, as a GM, you start to use your bullets. Well, I think right now he's in the bullet evaluation stage. Which ones do I have?
He doesn't have much time though, Steve, because January's compressed.
Oh, and you got to put them in the, I don't know how guns work. I'm Canadian. But Scott Arniel, there's a bullet. The amateur scouting staff.
That seems to be a summer thing, though, wouldn't you think?
You would, yeah, because there's really nothing you can do about that now. That's spilt milk. And can I illustrate how friggin' bad it is? So they said since 2017, which is a pretty good cutoff because Vasilinen was your first round pick. That didn't work out so good. He only played 70 games. But yeah, Dylan Sandberg and Jonathan Kovacevic, who have both played over 200 NHL games. Those are good picks.
Yeah.
Okay. You got two players out of a draft class that are 200 plus game NHL players. That's generally considered a fine draft. Maybe not excellent, but fine. 2018, David Gustafson's played 149 games, but as a pretty marginal player, he's got 20 career points. Nathan Smith, 14 games. They were all for the Coyotes. Declan Chisholm, most of his games have been for the Minnesota Wild. 2019 draft class, it's just 53 games. It's one guy, and it's Heinola. The next season, it's one guy, the 2020 draft, and it's Perfetti, who has gone backward. So, what do you currently have to show for that draft class? Well, currently, next to nothing. 2021, 13 games total. Nikita Chiprikov. And then 2022, I'll cut it off because then they're too young.
Crazy, yeah. Second
round, you have Elias Salamonson, who, we might have this guy. Okay, well, when's he showing up? Brad Lambert, who is apparently on the market. He's only played 10 games. Number 14. Who'd they pick 14th overall in 2022?
I don't know.
Rutger McGroarty.
Oh, yeah. Well, so they have Brandon Yeager then.
Yes. And where's he?
It's a good question.
Not on your team. And that was a few years. Now, I know he's younger.
Yep. A year younger.
By a year, but like you made that choice.
Yep.
Braden Yeager, he's with the Manitoba Moose. You can call him up whenever you want.
14 points in 30 games.
Exactly.
Not ready.
And I'm not saying he's a bust or whatever. I'm just, you're in a real bad spot. And like, there's some things you can do now. There's some things you can do later. And obviously firing your amateur scouting staff isn't necessarily going to help you now, but you do have to acknowledge of all the organizational problems you have, that's definitely one of them. You stink at drafting.
Time to make a change. That's not an easy one to, because even if you do make a change, you don't even know what the results are going to be for 5 years.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You make a wholesale change there, you just don't know.
Optimistically, 3. Like, yeah, it's bad.
Oof.
It's bad.
Okay.
It's tough. And, Cheveldayoff, before the Jets got good for a little while here, his reputation was he doesn't friggin' do anything.
Yes.
So this is a tough one. This is a real tough one for Winnipeg. Not to mention they have to deal with what every Canadian team seems to have to deal with is no one wants to bloody play here.
Yeah. Yeah. Last thing I wanted to touch on was the contract extension for Alex Wennberg, which came in at 3 years, $18 million total with San Jose, but it's a $6 million per year he's got. He's been pretty good. 17 goals and 44 assists on 118 games with the Sharks. Been pretty good this season specifically. It seems a bit high, and people were quick to criticize, but I did want to say, this guy seems like you're a 2-3 centerman, probably a 3C on this team if everything works out well. Yeah. Is that now what it costs when you get into 110 million, 115 million, 120 million? Is that what a 2 to a 3C guy is going to cost you?
We've had this conversation before. There's what you're worth league wide, and there's what you're worth to us. I think he's worth that to the Sharks.
Why?
They don't have a ton of players.
Yeah, they need guys
for next season. Basically, their whole D-core is unsigned. I expect them, now that you're seeing this extension, I'm like, okay, so what's next? Mm-hmm. They're going to sign this guy. They're going to extend this guy. They're going to extend this guy. They have some decisions to make here. But I remember the conversation with Tyler Bozak when he was on the Leafs is, he's not worth that money. Yeah, but he plays number 1 center for you.
Yeah.
So you might not think he's that caliber of a player, but at some point, damn, dude, you pay me to play 20 minutes a night against really good competition. Yeah, I should be paid for that. Mm-hmm. And I think Wennberg sort of falls into that conversation. Is it a good idea for most teams to pay Alex Wennberg, what is it, $6 mil? Probably not, no. Is it a good idea for the Sharks? Yeah.
Jess.
I think this is actually right in line with what he should be making, even maybe a little bit of a discount. In 2017-18, coming out of his ELC, the Columbus Blue Jackets signed Wennberg to a $4.9 million contract. This season, he was making $5 million with the Sharks, and then previously, he was making $4.5 million with the Kraken and Rangers. This is about what the teams around the league have valued Wennberg throughout his career, and it hasn't really shifted.
It's like adjusting for inflation.
And now that the cap is a little up, all of a sudden, a McDouble at McDonald's is 50 cents more. And this is what Alex Wennberg has cost throughout his career. So the $6 million is a sticker shock because you're like, that's that guy. But it's not a sticker shock when you take into consideration it's 2026 and the price of things are up. And that is just Alex Wennberg life.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to the things you say, right? Like, if every single contract extension makes you go, whoa, that means it's not the league that's screwed up. It's your expectations are just wrong.
Well, he might have been a $3.5-4 million player a year ago under that cap, but it's not that cap anymore. Cap's gone up 20%, so is his salary.
Yeah, when you do that, it's like a way lower stakes version of your parents going, just, save up and go buy a house.
Yeah, stop buying coffee every morning.
Yeah, stop buying coffee every morning. What are you talking? You have a job as a barista. They give you tips, don't they? Go up and buy a house.
Outside of ELCs, the Sharks have 2 defensemen who are signed next year. Orlov and Ryan Ellis, who is not ever going to play again.
Oh, shit. Well, and Orlov only has the 1 year.
No, he's got 2. Like he's got
after this.
Oh yeah. He's got he's got a 2-year deal. But Letty, Klingberg, Mario Ferraro, Liljegren, also known as Liljegren,
who
Vinny Desharnais
still gets bounced from the lineup for Klingberg, which is hilarious.
Well, Klingberg's on IR now, so Liljegren's going to be in there, and Shakir Mukhamadullin. I wonder if San Jose's next move is to get Mario Ferraro locked up long term.
That was the first name I thought of.
That has to be, right?
As soon as I saw the Wennberg news, I'm like, it's got to be Ferraro.
Yeah.
Well, and you're in a playoff spot right now. What are
yes,
you going to do?
are.
Trade him? Not unless
they shouldn't sell this year. They should not sell this year.
This
you
is
should
what
go
I'm saying.
for it. You need to go for it.
Like, unless you're getting value back, right? This is a perfect stand pat year for the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, don't add.
Perfect.
Don't subtract. Just let the guys go for it.
Yeah.
Try it.
And now, if you slump heading into the trade deadline, yeah, you sell. If you're in a playoff spot or within 2 points of a playoff spot come trade deadline, holding on to your guys is almost the buy. You can look at that as deviating from the plan. They have some pretty good players coming up.
Jesse,
I think they're okay.
If you're San Jose's general manager, Mike Greer, who walked past us in the hallway once when we were in San Jose, I remember that.
I was like, whoa, that's Mike Greer. And
that
was the end of it?
Yeah, that was it. Joe Thornton also walked by with his
that's
4
Joe
kids.
Thornton.
I was like, whoa,
that's the end of it.
Crazy. And that was the end of it.
That's the end of it.
Jesse, do you add at this deadline if somebody of consequence becomes available? Because I look at San Jose's defense and I go, they sure could use a major piece there. Like, not another Quinn Hughes necessarily becomes available, but do you add to that group to give them a boost, not just this year, but beyond? Somebody that's got a 2 or 3 year contract.
I would have went and got Quinn Hughes if that was possible. Like that's a player who's not available ever, and they're available, and your team is decent this year. I would have done that if I were the Sharks.
You offer up Michael Misa or something like that?
I'm going out and I'm doing deals that make my team better now. I don't think it's just sell-off mode anymore for the Sharks. I think they really have something good there with all the young guys. And like Celebrini has taken the step where he needs to be in the class of every top player in this league.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And when you have that, it is your obligation to build good teams around him. So they need to start now to build up, and that means making hockey trades from this point onwards.
This is wheeling dealing GM Jesse Blake.
I like
it. Because you're like, they should have gone out and got Quinn Hughes. And I'm sitting here like, who could be their Brian Boyle?
No, go get Quinn Hughes.
Who could be their Brian Boyle?
It's a good question. It's a really, really good question. We'll leave it at that for today. There's plenty that we missed, but coming back, there was a lot of stuff we missed.
Yes.
We'll be back Wednesday though. And I got a stream tomorrow night. Florida, Toronto. No big deal. Will Matthew Tkachuk make his debut tomorrow?
Oh,
could it possibly be?
And when he does, he's going to punch someone without looking at him. Guaranteed.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.